give it up for Teresa Nicole. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Open Division Championships here at Snapdragon Stadium. Let's meet the starting lineups first for the Granite Hills High School Eagles. Number 11, wide receiver Josh Zander. Number 2, wide receiver Brendan Lewis. Number 8, wide receiver Tristan Diaz. Running back number 30, Max Turner. Running back number 1, Pablo Jackson. Left tackle number 69, Rowdy Sita. Left guard number 77, Blue Tejada. Center number 56, Keaton Boyce. Right guard number 79, Zeph Carter. Right tackle number 71, Jeremiah Mays. And quarterback number 0, Zach Benitez. Head coach Kellen Cobb.
It's the two teams with the longest winning streak in the San Diego section battling it out here tonight in the Open Section Championship Final here at Snapdragon on the NFHS Network. Bo Fertig alongside my partner Jeff Kurtz bringing you tonight's action in what is going to be a heavyweight bout between the 1 seed Lincoln Hornets and number 3 Granite Hills Eagles. Jeff, both of these teams went into overtime in the semis and pulled out the win in triumphant fashion. Either team could have took it. These are the two teams here tonight. What are we expecting from tonight's matchup?
Well, I think, first of all, neither team needs to provide us with more entertainment than we got last week, but they've got two big games from last week that are going to be tough to live up to tonight. But, boy, what an outstanding evening for football here in San Diego at Snapdragon Stadium, a fantastic facility for this game. Second year in a row the CIF San Diego section's having it, and having two undefeated teams come in here to play this game. Granite Hills is the underdog, but they've been so good over the last few years in the Grossmont Conference. I mean, it's really a very even matchup. Lincoln, the defending champion, though, obviously has a leg up. They've played here already before. They've got a lot of kids who were on the team last year when they were very successful. I imagine we're going to have a very entertaining game for those of you at home watching tonight or wherever you're watching around the world. This should be a really good one.
The Eagles won the 2A state championship game last year. Lincoln won the single A state championship game last year. So two teams coming into this one off a state championship run. You caught Lincoln last week in that tight matchup. What did you see out of them? What are some keys for them here tonight?
Well, they hadn't played a close game all year.
Right.
And in talking to Coach Carter before the game, he was saying, look, we're leaving points on the football field, and I think they did that last week. But, you know, Helix is a very stubborn team. They're very good. They stuck around. They were able to overcome some early mistakes and really make it a game. But I'll tell you, Achilles Smith, who we're going to see a lot of tonight at quarterback, did some great playmaking down the stretch on the final drive. And then, of course, you got to credit Mr. Felix Radia Benavides kicking the biggest field goal of his young life at 36-yarder with half a second left on the clock to force overtime. It was a very good game. But this Lincoln team, very athletic, very good, very well coached. They are going to be a handful for Granite Hills.
And on the offensive side for Granite Hills, they love to run through their run game with a two-headed combo of Maxwell Turner and Pablo Jackson, both juniors.
Yeah, and, you know, when you've got a couple of guys who are running as well as they do and accumulating the yards they do, it makes you forget for a moment that the guy handing the ball off to them is a freshman quarterback. Zachary Benitez, we'll call him Zach all night. I mean, he does not look like a freshman at all. In fact, if I hadn't looked at the roster and seen, oh, this kid's a freshman a few weeks ago, you would never know it from watching him play on the field. You'd figure, oh, this kid's a junior or a senior, no problem. But he has done a great job steadying the ship in his first season playing high school football.
Benitez completed 75% of his passes, and the most impressive thing, other than that great completion percentage, clean sheet, no interceptions. And It sounds like he's been over a month. We're saying that up front to not jinx him. The game hasn't started yet, but he's been stellar in his freshman season.
Well, let's look at the keys to the game, Bo, here. And Granite Hills is going to receive the football first. They are going to do a couple things that their head coach, Kellen Cobb, said. One that'll be familiar to Granite Hills fans, another that may not be quite as much. He said, look, we're going to establish the run, of course, right? That's what Granite Hills wants to do. But the other thing is, he said, we got to go vertical against Lincoln when we are on offense. They have safeties that like to come in hard on the run game. If we can draw them in and go over the top of them, even if they've got good speed, we feel like we can do pretty well there. And then Lincoln, of course, they said we want to turn it into a track meet, and we're concerned about what we do, not what Granite Hills is going to show us. We got to do what we do. If we do that, we're going to be in good shape.
Makai Gray and Isaiah Grant back to receive, and it's going to be Gray to start the Open Division San Diego Section Championship game. Gray gets up to 25, and the Eagles rally on special teams. That's where Lincoln will start their first offensive possession, led by junior quarterback Achilles Smith Jr. on the season. Over 2,200 passing yards, 23 passing touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. But when he needs to use his legs, he can do that as well, averaging 5 yards per pop on the ground.
Yeah, and he's the best kid in the section by far, who can roll out to his right-hand side and then fire a laser 60 yards the other direction. I mean, he is very good and has done a nice job in his first year with Lincoln.
And an open set to start it. They're going to get it to C.J. Williams quickly in open space. That's one thing Coach Carter, offensive coordinator Jason Carter, spoke about. We want to space and pace to tonight's contest.
Yeah, and you can see why. If you want to turn it into a track meet, you got to give your track runners an opportunity to get the ball with a little bit of room and get out in a running start. That's a nice first play for Lincoln.
C.J. Williams picks up a quick 7 here to start tonight's contest. And we'll see a 3-headed backfield out of Lincoln. The first one to get the touch, Donald Reed III, picks up a first down on the season, 83 carries for 597 yards, just eclipsed 600 on the season.
Yeah, and averages 7.2 yards per carry. Yeah. I mean, you've got that. You've got Aiden Jackson at 6.9, and then you've got C.J. Williams at 6.5. I'm not a math major, Bo, but if you hand the ball off to those guys once each, you got a lot of first downs is what you're getting.
Lincoln 2 plays, picks up a first down on a quick bubble and a dive up the middle. Achilles Smith, 2 receivers to his right. He's going to go quickly that way. Has a receiver wide open down the sideline. Gets into Eagles territory. And Dre Gardner with the big reception for the first down.
Well, and Jerzel Ramirez was thinking that play was going to come short, so he cheated up out of the secondary, and they threw over the top of him and got the ball out there. And now you see, here's the pace you're talking about, Bo.
Gardner, his 38th reception on the season. Achilles keeps Smith out in the open field, gets past the first down. Back-to-back plays for Lincoln in the air and on the ground. Achilles Smith, talking to Coach Carter before the game as well, he said, I want to see my junior quarterback use his legs a little bit more here today.
Yeah, he's got great footwork. I mean, and you could see that there. Not only that, but he almost looked like a guy driving into the key, picking the ball up, going over the top of the defender, and then picking up some extra yards.
Smith stands 6'6" and is slippery with the ball in his hands. This is Benavente on the sweep.
And Coach really likes him. I mean, Jason
Scratch
Carter.
that was Grant on the sweep.
Well, Grant, he really likes him too, but both of them. Yeah. He said Benavente has been up and coming, and Makai Gray and Grant, all those guys, they are the speedsters. So running a jet sweep there, trying to get the ball to the receiver and get him out on the wing, not a bad idea.
Split backfield. Reed is going to get the handoff. And Reed picks up 6, bring up a 3rd and short.
Reed is frustrated that he only got 6. And that's our high expectations. But a nice play.
Lincoln right back on it. Reed again. And off the edge, that's Demarion White with the tackle at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, these defensive linemen for Granite Hills, they can move sideline to sideline pretty well. White is one of the better ones. 8 tackles for a loss this season. That was at the line of scrimmage, so not much there, but he can get into the backfield pretty quickly. And then you've got Other guys, Travis Ford on the other side, formerly at Helix. I mean, that's a nice defensive end combo.
Pollock and Moshi Talea in the middle. 4th down, and it looks like Granite has come up with the stop.
Jordan Glaze.
Team's leading tackler this year and last year.
68 tackles this year, 4 for a loss. That one didn't need to be for a loss. That's just a fantastic play on a 4th down by a man who likes to go and find the ball carrier any chance he can get. And that was a great job by Glaze to fly in there on a direct snap to C.J. Williams.
Yeah.
That was the Wildcat play, and Williams looked like he had the edge, and suddenly he didn't even have a first down.
This defense of the Eagles is so good because of their safety play. Not only do they cover well, but guys like Jordan Glaze and Nicoy Maddox come up near the line of scrimmage and make great tackles like that in open field. Looks like we have a equipment malfunction on Maxwell Turner, so he will check. And I've seen that so many times this year. It's like if we could take care of that pregame, that'd be nice. But nonetheless, here we are. Pablo Jackson in the backfield as a single back. Zachary Benitez, the freshman quarterback on the season, 20 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, over 1,900 passing yards.
I mean, that's why he doesn't seem like a freshman. Those are stats of a senior.
Benitez keeps over the middle, and that is their top receiver from last week. 14 receptions for a $143. Brendan Lewis on the short reception.
Yeah, Lewis, 54 for 694 and 8 on the year. 8 touchdowns. It's going to be fun to watch this Lincoln defense too, Bo, because they do fly around.
They're led by middle linebacker Jerome Roberts, averaging 14 tackles per carry. And stuffed near the line of scrimmage, Pablo Jackson getting driven back by Eugene Rice, the junior defensive tackle.
Yeah, Rice doesn't get as much press, but he's pretty good too. 9 tackles for a loss this year, 71 tackles overall.
3rd on the team in tackles. No gain, bringing up a 3rd and long. And Granite Hills was actually really good last week against Carlsbad in these 3rd and long situations. Benitez looks left to the 3-receiver side. Up the seam, ball goes through the hands of his intended receiver, Brendan Lewis. And the incomplete pass will bring up a 4th down.
And on comes the punting unit for Granite Hills. That's not a bad look. You get the sense Benitez, that ball just slipped a little bit. Yeah. I think probably, early in the game, you're a freshman. Last year you were in 8th grade. You were in junior high, and now you're playing at Snapdragon Stadium, not even a few months later. Yeah, exactly. I mean, can you imagine? That is a lot to consume at 14, 15 years of age.
Makai Gray and Isaiah Grant back to return. Standing around the 40-yard line, Robert Petritz. Back to punt. And this ball is going to bounce at the 40 and take a Granite Hills roll inside the 35, and that's where Lincoln will start their 2nd offensive possession.
Yeah, that is a fantastic punt by Petritz. You do not want any piece of either one of those return men. As Helix discovered last week, Makai Gray took one all the way to the end zone on a kickoff for a touchdown that was called back on an illegal block, but either one of those speedsters getting the ball, you want to kick that a little bit short, let your coverage get in front of it, and that's exactly what Petritz did. That's a great bit of special teams work by the punter.
Donald Reed to the right hip pocket of Achilles Smith. Smith looks near side to the single receiver. Tell him to go on the go route and help over the top. Well defended by the Eagles defense right there. Help over the top by Parker Vance, the junior.
Yeah, that's a smart play by Smith. You'll see a lot of quarterbacks. They'll try to force the ball somewhere, or they'll hold on to it too long and try to make something happen and then take a sack or take an unnecessary hit. That time he just threw the ball away. That's a smart play.
Jackson and Williams in the backfield. Jackson gets his first touch, crosses the 45, picks up a first down and a few more. That's the first time we've seen Jackson, a great downhill runner.
Yeah, he and Reed are a nice 1-2 combo, and then you got Williams who can get outside pretty quickly, but all those guys look really good, and Jackson had a fantastic game last week against Helix.
Jackson stays in the ballgame. 3 rushing touchdowns, 6 rushing touchdowns last week against Helix. Jackson again on the run, this time off the left side, gets in the Eagles' territory, crosses the 40, back-to-back runs for Jackson, picking up first downs.
Yeah, Jackson, I mean, you're just seeing a glimpse, Bo, of what that kid can do. I mean, here he is. He's got 2 carries. He gets 2 first downs. Comes in averaging 6.9. He's doing way better than that on his first 2 carries.
Donald Reed checks back in. 6 men in the box. Smith with 2 receivers to his right. And the handoff again to Reed. Gets hit near the line of scrimmage, but plows forward, picking up a couple.
Yeah, that's a nice job there by Moshe
Talia,
to get in there and make the tackle for limited yardage.
His 50th tackle on the season. Also has a dozen tackle for losses. That front of Pollock and Moshe make it difficult for running backs to get through, but you'll see on both of these sides, these running backs fall forward. Second and 6. Quick hit near side, and rallying to the ball, Trevor Smith, the junior.
Yeah, Smith, great read on that one. I mean, that was a long play call coming in from the sideline. That defense had a long time to sit there, and Reed read that very well. I thought for a moment he might have a chance to get a pick, but he was on top of that ball in a hurry.
Isaiah Grant on the reception. Looks like he lost one, so it'll bring up a 3rd and 7 for the Hornets. 3 receivers to the right of Smith. He's going to look single-sided initially. Look over the middle. Have a receiver wide open inside the 5. Did he bring it in? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Hornets.
That is a pro-level pass right there. I mean, you catch your receiver in stride. That is just a fantastic throw by Smith and a great route by the Lincoln receiver.
Makai Gray on the 35-yard touchdown. And Lincoln gets on the board first. You love to see Smith look one way, get the defense moving, and hitting Gray over the middle, the speedster, with a big touchdown reception. His 6th receiving touchdown on the season. We've seen a lot of 2-point conversions, Jeff, late in the season. It looks like Lincoln is not even going to give the extra point a chance. They're going to come on for 2. Bunch formation to the right. Smith rolls that way, has some time. And that ball is intercepted in the end zone. So 2-point conversion, no good. And that interception by Nicoy Maddox, who had the interception in last week's game.
That was almost a situation there where Smith's receivers had run off the defenders enough that maybe you cut it upfield and you can get in for the score yourself. But, you know, it's early in the game. And I think it's great that coaches are going for 2 more. It certainly makes the game more exciting. I've seen more teams going for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
And that's no knock on Radia Benavides. I mean, he can kick extra points all day long. So that's not anything on him or thinking, oh, we don't trust our kicker. That's just, hey, let's see if we can get up here early and take an 8-0 lead instead of a 7-0 one.
That was a situation where I could see Achilles Smith in his progression over the years almost run that one in because of the secondary had that one covered so well.
They did, and they were like 6 yards into the end zone, so he would have had a lot of room to do it.
That's true.
But an impressive second drive for Lincoln nonetheless. That pass was phenomenal.
5:52 remaining in the opening quarter, and Lincoln jumps on the board first with the touchdown from Achilles Smith to Makai Gray. This is the receiver, Brendan Lewis, on the return, crosses the 20, and not much more after that. Both special teams on both sides really impressive, and it's one of the reasons why they're here in this championship game.
Well, and Lincoln is so quick to the football, and Granite Hills special team swarms to it. I mean, it's just really interesting to watch the 2 different styles. Both of these coaches, very good. Like David Dunn in his 10th season guiding Lincoln, and he's really empowered his coaching staff to really work with these kids. And Kellen Cobbs has done the same thing. I mean, they've just done a great job building up programs that had not been very successful until they, at least in recent years, until they'd taken over. Obviously, Lincoln had been closed for a little while before Coach Dunn took over. Coach Ron Hamamoto there before that.
Turner on his first touch gets hit near the line of scrimmage and falls forward for a couple.
And then Coach Cobbs on the other side, I mean, this Granite program has turned into a powerhouse. And they've had ebbs and flows in their school history of doing so, but wins over Helix the last couple of years, those have been huge for Granite Hills.
Casa on the tackle, the middle linebacker, having an exceptional season. Brendan Lewis, that ball goes through his hands, and the incomplete pass brings up a 3rd and 8.
That's just great secondary work right there. You've got the receiver trying to hold the ball away from the defensive back, and you just punch through it or at least make it difficult for him to hang on to the football. And he probably didn't get a foot down in time anyway, but still a nice defensive play by Lincoln.
3rd and long, we saw Granite in this same situation on their first offensive possession. 5:21 remaining in the opening quarter. Granite looking to respond after the Lincoln touchdown on their second offensive possession. And we have a timeout on the field by Granite.
Well, Granite wants to make sure that they've got the right play dialed in here. I know it seems like it's a little early for a timeout. You want to hang on to those till the second quarter if you can, but you also don't want to make a mistake inside your own 25 against a team like Lincoln. I think the coaching staff for Granite Hills realizes that this Lincoln team can put a lot of points on the board in a hurry. So if we're going to have possession of the football, Coach Cobb said we're not going to change our style too much.
Right.
We are who we are.
Right.
But early in the game, we might want to slow down just a little bit, check to see how they're setting up, take our time. We do like to play up tempo, and we'll probably do that as we scale that up as we go along. But in the meantime, we want to make sure that we've got the right play dialed in. And I think that timeout reflective of that philosophy here in the first quarter.
Granite Hills, 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right of Benitez. Maxwell Turner, the single back. 3rd and 8 at their own 23. Receiver in motion. They're going to send a screen to Maxwell Turner, and the great open field tackle by number 10, Micah Valenzuela, the middle linebacker.
Yeah, this kid's got 14 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks, and 117 tackles on the season.
Read that one like a book right there. There's nothing getting by him.
Well, and it's a great play. I mean, the whole defensive line was in the backfield. Yep. You would think, oh, this is going to work really well for Granite Hills, this screen pass, except Micah Valenzuela is a very sure tackler and made the perfect play at the right time.
He's averaging 11 tackles on the season. Once again, Gray and Grant back to return. Illegal substitution on Lincoln. It was 4th and 9, so that will make it a 4th and 4.
I don't think that changes the equation for the Granite Hills coaching staff. They're still punting the football away here.
Both returners of the Hornets around the 50 and 40. One's up short, and the other was long in the block. That ball's going to get into the end zone.
That's a live ball.
And Lincoln recovers for a touchdown. Jamarian Herbert with the block punt, and Jerome Roberts with the recovery in the end zone.
Wow.
Jamarian Herbert had a couple block punts before this contest, and so did Jerome Roberts, and they came in screaming for that block punt right there.
Well, you had the punter rolling away from where the block was. So you had the guy coming off the outside edge on the right as the punter's rolling to the defender's left, and he still got the block.
And a special teams touchdown for the Hornets, as Benavidez comes on for the extra point to give Lincoln a 13-0 lead with 4:32 remaining in the opening quarter, Jeff.
I mean, there are points in a game, Bo, that you can get that you don't necessarily expect. If you can get them, it's great. And a special teams touchdown is that kind of points. Defensive, if you can get a pick six,
right,
a strip sack and recovery, take it in. But those are pretty rare, as are a block punt. Those are special bonus points you can get. And if Lincoln picks those up here, that makes it difficult, especially when you're the underdog coming in like Granite Hills is.
And this is a very similar situation for Lincoln, right? Last week against Helix, up multiple scores, allowed the Highlanders to kind of climb back in the game. Tonight, similar story, and we'll see if they respond similar or if they learn from that experience.
Well, and I've been covering the teams out of the Grossmont League for 20 years now. And I'll tell you one thing, Grossmont Conference teams, they do not give up. So Helix looked dead in the water last week. We thought this was going to be another 47-7 Lincoln blowout, and suddenly the Hornets found themselves in a game. The question is, have they learned from that experience last week?
Right.
You've got a team down. Do you keep them there? That is going to be the interesting thing to watch here, and also how Granite Hills offense responds.
Lewis brings it in at the 10. Gets up to 25, stutters, and will be tackled by Jerome Roberts.
Roberts is making a name for himself on special teams here in the last 2 plays, huh?
One of the best, if you're talking to a Lincoln fan, he's the best defensive player in the county, averaging nearly 14 tackles per game, Jeff.
Yeah, 149 tackles, 29 for a loss.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid flies around, as we just witnessed a moment ago on special teams. So now Granite Hills, you can't panic here. There is a ton of time left in the game. You got to go down the field. You got to get some first downs. They don't have any yet. Convert a few third downs, see if you can make something happen.
Turner up the gut. And he picks up a few. Last week's game against Carlsbad, it was back and forth. Neither team led by more than one possession or was down by more than one possession. So this is a bit of a different state for Granite here in this opening quarter. Coming up on the 4-minute mark, Turner once again, and not a lot of room as Rashad Scott, the junior, gets his 57th tackle on the season. Scott standing 5'11", 270. Eugene Rice. Those are the 2 men that plug the holes up for Lincoln. And allows Valenzuela and Roberts to roam free. Under 4 minutes remaining here in the opening quarter. Benitez will keep. He needed 5, picked up 2 or 3, and that will bring up a 4th down.
And Roberts again with another tackle. And Granite looking like they're going to go for it here on 4th and short.
At least try to draw Lincoln off sides. Maxwell Turner in the backfield.
They need to get to the 37-yard line, Bo. They're just on their side of the 35.
Jackson comes back, split backfield. Turner gets a handoff off the left side, has a lane and a lot of room to run. One defender to beat, has a block downfield, and Maxwell Turner gets tackled inside the 10. 47-yard run from the running back, Maxwell Turner.
Isaiah Bartolome with a touchdown-saving tackle. Had I had a chance to mention yet how much I like Turner at running back?
57 yards, scratch that from Maxwell Turner, over 1,000 yards on the season.
Great blocking up front, too, by that offensive line.
Lincoln's trying to call a timeout, and they do get the timeout call.
Yeah, they need to recoup here after that last play. I mean, Turner had a hole that you could drive a truck through on that, and then he just used his foot speed and got some great blocking downfield. I mean, there was nobody. That's the thing that we talked about. Granite Hills want to go vertical, and that means in the passing game, of course, right? But you get hard-charging free safeties, and if you can get them trapped inside the second level, which is what happened there, then Turner just takes off down the field, and there's no safety help.
Well, the gutsy call, right? The ball at your own 35. We still have so much time, Jeff. 3 minutes remaining in the opening quarter, but we saw that swinging gate on a 2-point conversion for the win last week. So no holds bars for this Granite Hills offense.
Yeah, Granite Hills, they really showed last week that if they need to make a play in a crunch situation that doesn't look like they should make that play, they end up doing so. They had 3 plays last week where they barely got in the end zone, and that got them tied, forced overtime, and won the game for them on a 2-point conversion.
Both Turner and Jackson with over 100 yards on the ground. Turner tackled near the line of scrimmage. Might have picked up 1 on that. No gain. Micah Valenzuela once again on the tackle.
Yeah, that's usually where the linebackers on that previous 4th down play, Valenzuela and Roberts, would be in on that, but they got trapped on the inside. And Turner ran left.
Turner again, the single back. Receiver in motion. That's Xander Benitez. Scratch that. Pablo Jackson out of the backfield.
Yeah, Benitez trying to hit him on a slant, and the ball was a little bit behind him. If he'd thrown it in the direction that Jackson was running, you probably squeeze it in there for at least an opportunity for your receiver to get it and get a score.
But there was that linebacker as well. Valenzuela was right in that passing lane. Jackson in motion. It looks like we have movement up front.
I think so.
And that play was set up to go to Turner on the left side as well.
Yeah, they caught Keaton Boyce moving a little bit, the sophomore guard.
I'll bring up a 3rd and goal from the Lincoln 12. And how big was that open field tackle by Lincoln inside the 10? Benitez looks right, quick bubble screen. And the open field tackle by number 27, Keontae McClay, the junior safety.
Yeah, he's good too. He made some nice plays last week in the game against Helix. Yeah, Bartolome, that tackle is huge now. He fought off a blocker and had to run 10 yards, 20 yards vertically to go ahead and make that play, making the tackle on Turner inside the 10-yard line. Now, Petrich has been very good all year long kicking the football. He's 11 for 13 on field goals with a long of 46, Bo. This one's going to be a 29-yarder.
Snap is good. Hold is good. And kick is no good. Wide left by Petrich. And once again, not to emphasize, but that tackle by Bartolome, even that much bigger after that missed field goal.
That's boy, if you are a young football player watching this game right now, that is the thing to take away, is you are always in the play, even if it does not look like you're in the play. You never assume, oh, well, I'm not going to get him. You go for it. And Bartolome did, and that keeps the score at 13-0.
1:17 remaining in the opening quarter. Lincoln on their last offensive possession. Smith to Makai Gray for the touchdown. Smith looks over the middle again. Pressure off the edge by Ford, and Ford brings him down for the sack.
I have liked this kid ever since his freshman year at Helix. I mean, he's got a great motor. Also doubled as a running back for the Highlanders for a little bit as well, and he came onto campus at 6'4", 240. I mean, he looked ready for college in his freshman year. That's a big-time sack by Granite Hills. Their defense needs to step up and make a couple of plays here. Lincoln's been running wild with offensively. They've been able to do pretty much whatever they've wanted.
Two receivers to the left of Smith. Quick hit to C.J. Williams in open space. Crosses the 10. The flag is thrown.
Yeah, they were going to have a hold or an illegal block on the receiver on this side. I think that's going to go against Gray.
And it looks like it will be a holding call on Gray.
And this is a spot foul at the high school level, so it's beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to decline it.
Yeah,
that's actually a good idea.
Because of after the big sack, it's still going to be a 3rd and long, and that would have been probably half the distance.
It would have put him back at the 7-yard line.
3rd and 17. And Benavente comes on late.
Well, I think that helps Lincoln a little bit. They were one player short of a nice boat cruise. I mean, they only were running out there with 10. Benavente was a late arrival, and Granite Hills said, well, we don't like this format anyway. We're going to call a timeout. That's their second timeout that they've used here, Bo, in the first half. So, but again, I maybe not critical. You know, we'll see how the second quarter rolls along, but better to make sure your defense is set the way you want it, because it's an opportunity for Granite Hills to flip the field here a little bit. If they can stop Lincoln on 3rd down deep and a 3rd and long situation and then force the punt, they're probably going to get the ball somewhere between their 40 and midfield. And that'll be the best field position they've had so far, with an offense that outside of that Turner run has struggled a bit moving the football.
Third and 16. Empty backfield as C.J. Williams goes to the right to the 3-receiver side. And looks like we have movement up front.
Well, Lincoln still looked a little confused. Their receivers looked a little confused still as to where they were supposed to line up. I mean, at one point, it looked like they were going to have 6 receivers out there. And, Bo, this isn't Canadian football, so you got to get rid of one of them. Can't have 12 on the field. So guys were still shifting around late.
Granite will bring 4. Pressure off the edge. Smith will just throw this one away.
Great coverage downfield. There was nobody open anywhere. I mean, Smith had a ton of time. He had a good 3-4 seconds, and then he had to start to look in front of him because the rush was starting to get in there. That's a good push by the defensive line and a nice job by the secondary and the linebackers.
Glaze and White on the pressure. That's what makes this Granite Hills defense so strong is because they only need to bring 3 or 4 and drop everyone else back in coverage.
Yeah, now after that penalty, Granite Hills could end up with the football on Lincoln's side of the field. And they've got a bit of a punt block on here, Bo. They're not selling out for it. They've got guys on the gunners, but they're looking to make a move.
Trevor Smith back to receive. He's standing at the 40 and will fair catch in plus territory. Helix last week got back into the contest in plus territory. It's one of the things Lincoln allowed Helix to get back into that one.
Yeah, and turnovers were a difference there. This is just a good defensive play, and Lincoln making some mistakes with the penalties, the sack that was a great play by Ford coming off the edge on Smith's blind side. And now the offense in the best position here to make a move. There's 13 seconds left in the quarter. And starting out with a ball on Lincoln's side of the field inside their 40-yard line. This is a huge opportunity for Granite here in the next few minutes to get back in the football game.
Pablo Jackson, the single back inside the 40. He'll get the handoff with some room, but it shuts down quickly as Jerome Roberts to the punch.
And I think Granite Hills is going to be content to switch sides here and try it again in the second quarter.
And that will end first quarter action here at Snapdragon. Lincoln with the early lead, 13-0 over Granite here on the NFHS Network. We're staying with us here on the NFHS Network. Granite with the ball. Benitez over the top inside the 20. Finds his receiver, Tristan Diaz, with his 10th reception on the season. Big play on the offensive side for the Eagles, Jeff. Jeff
That's
Kurtz,
a great
Bo
catch.
Fertig on the call.
Yeah, that's a great catch in traffic with a receiver on top of him, and a fantastic throw by Benitez just over the shoulder. Great touch.
Jackson, the single back. And a little confusion. Looked like Diaz was almost setting up for a run block right there.
Well, and I think they were trying to run an out route, and Lincoln was playing the out route, so it was almost like they'd set up a pick out there, and they were picking the receiver off, not illegally, just great body position on the corner's part, and preventing that play from even really developing.
The fake over the middle, and Benitez on the pressure, late flag.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, though. That's a good call because you have the defender on the receiver, his back completely to the play, face guarding, and even though there wasn't a ton of contact, there were hands on the receiver at the time the ball was arriving. So that'll be half the distance to the goal line, Bo.
I'll bring up an automatic first down. So first and goal at the 6.
Actually, I think they're going to say they're going to keep it at second down because the half the distance piece.
Oh, okay. 2nd and 4 at the 6. Jackson off the right side, tries to stretch it around the corner. And once again, Micah Valenzuela, sideline to sideline, him and Roberts, the best duo in the county, Jeff.
I think the quickest person on that play was the guy holding the chain at the end of it. He got out of there in a hurry. I hope his insurance is up to date.
Jackson needed 4. He picked up half to bring up a 3rd and 2. And the big boys in the game. Jackson up the middle. Near the first down marker. He needed 2. He got 3. And Jerome Roberts on the tackle.
Yeah, I think he got it. That's the first third down conversion of the game for Granite Hills. They're 1 of 5, and we have an injured player down for Lincoln.
And that's Rashad Scott, the junior defensive tackle. And great point, Jeff, in that a lot of the third downs we had seen before that were 3rd and longs. This time 3rd and short, opening up the playbook.
Yeah, and you know, you get it's pretty simple, right? I mean, we're not telling anybody that anything at home that they don't already know. If you get a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 situation, certainly much better than a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. And Granite Hills has not had any of those, so thus 0 for 4 going into that third down conversion. But you know, they've done a nice job. They've seemed to have settled in a little bit more. they're only a yard away from the end zone. It would be certainly a huge boost for their bench, for their fan base, for the players who've been out on the field so far to get a touchdown here in the early stages of the second quarter, make it a one-possession game again. So that'll be interesting to see how they punch it in from here. But it looks like the offensive linemen are getting into the flow a little bit more as well. They're opening up some more holes. And the Lincoln coaching staff said, look, Granite Hills, they don't fire at you. They kind of lean on you because they're big. We've got to try to slip around them. But eventually that weight starts to get heavy when you're on the receiving end of that. And it starts to wear down defenses over time. And you saw that a little bit against Carlsbad last week as well, where suddenly this great Carlsbad defense, still very, very good, but it starts to wear on you over the course of 4 quarters.
As Rasad Scott is 10-2. He has some help walking off the field.
They're going Wildcat here. They've taken Benitez out.
This is Maxwell Turner, 1,000-yard rusher on the season.
Some teams in this formation, Bo, look for anybody over 200 pounds. I think Granite's going with anybody over 3 in this formation.
Turner, student body right. And he gets in for a Granite Hills touchdown.
Just what the doctor ordered for Granite.
A great response after chasing 13, and Granite Hills gets on the board with 10:59 remaining in the first half. Maxwell Turner's 16th rushing touchdown on the season.
Excellent execution, well run, great pass and catch earlier on in the drive. They gave him a little bit of room, and they started on the Lincoln side of the field after that punt. So everything circumstantially was lining up Granite Hills' way, and they were able to execute and end up with a touchdown.
Petrich on for the extra point, and it's blocked at the line of scrimmage. Special teams big here tonight for the Hornets. Block punt resulting in a touchdown and an extra point block to keep the Hornets up by 7.
Yeah, and that benefits Lincoln a lot after they missed the 2-point conversion, then elected after that punt block TD recovery to go for the extra point. Granite Hills, if it had stayed 13-7, could score, take the lead on the extra point now. Unless they decide to go for 2, the best they can get is a tie at that stage of the game. I mean, it's still just a ton of time left in this one, so we could be. What conversation would we have about 13-7, right, or 13-6? That's
both of these teams put up 40 plus last week.
Yeah, that's gonna be well in the rearview mirror, I think, in a couple of quarters.
Makai Gray and Isaiah Grant back to return for the Hornets.
Well, they're gonna kick it to him.
Gray brings it in at the 5. Still up and goes down.
It's nice coverage.
Jordan Glaze on the tackle.
Yeah, well, of course, your most sure-handed tackler on the Granite Hills side of the field. We've got dueling linebackers is what we've got here. It's not quite like dueling banjos, but it's dueling linebackers. Both guys up for Defensive Player of the Year in the CIF San Diego section, and both very deserving.
Glaze, 70 tackles on the season, leads the team. Last year, over 120 tackles. So both defenses bringing back their leading tacklers. Split backfield next to Smith. Smith will hand off to Jackson. Jackson off the right side for a short gain.
Yeah, I said dueling linebackers. I know that.
Well, Glaze plays near the
free
line of
safety,
scrimmage.
But he plays like a linebacker.
He's a hybrid. Big. He's definitely a hybrid.
Yeah, he plays deeper, but it's like it's like you're playing a 3-3 and then 5 defensive backs, but really you've got a 3-4 out there when he's playing.
Jackson, the single back, he'll get the handoff off the left side. Glaze misses the tackle, and Jackson, a gain of 11, picks up a first down.
That's nice running by Jackson. A good cutback, too, and Glaze ended up with nothing but error trying to make that tackle as Jackson timed that cut perfectly.
Nicoy Maddox on the tackle.
This field has seen a lot of activity over the last couple of weeks. You've had the Aztecs football game. You've had 2 National Women's Soccer League, a playoff game and a championship game, and now this football game. It's actually holding up pretty well for this one here as we walked on the field earlier in the game.
Yeah, we were down on the field, and it looked good. Glaze on the tackle. Williams on the first down. Picks up about 6. Make that 7 Under 10 minutes remaining, and Lincoln's going to get right back on the ball quickly. They like what they see. Reed up the gut.
I'm surprised we didn't have a flag thrown there. I don't
Right.
think Ford got off the field on the
saw the
snap
same
of the
thing.
football, but no hankies out there.
Rowan Haynes on the tackle to bring up a 3rd and 1 at the Lincoln 35. CJ Williams checks off, and the fullback, number 44, checks in. That's Northmeyer. 3rd down run off the right side. Reed. A big first down. Jordan Glaze at the open field tackle. And Lincoln likes this pace right now as CJ Williams checks back in, replacing Reed.
Yeah, this one they're just up to the line of scrimmage looking for the play call. A couple plays ago when they almost got too many men on the field against Granite Hills, they were looking to do that in a hurry. This is just, okay, this is more standard practice. Let's slow it down. Let's get the play call, but be up on the line.
2 receivers to the left side of the boundary, which means most likely run. And CJ Williams with the run picks up a few.
And now they're back on the ball again. This is where you could step it up a little bit. Smith has got options on the play call coming in to change it at the line of scrimmage if he chooses to. It's a lot of responsibility to give your junior quarterback, but he's certainly been up to it.
Tyler Bertalon with the tackle after a gain of 4. Williams, the single back to the right hip pocket of Smith. Gardner, the single side receiver at the bottom of your screen, guarded by Trevor Smith. The toss to Williams off the left side, has to cut back, and Granite rallies to the ball. Demarion White coming from the opposite side of the line to make that tackle at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I like White. He really pursues well, coming up from the opposite side of the ball to make the tackle. It's very difficult on both of these defenses to go sideline to sideline against him. Even with the speed that Lincoln has, it's, Granite Hills stays in their lane. They don't try to do too much, and then they let the backside guy come in and clean up the play because they've stayed where they needed to be and did contain.
Jackson, the single back, 3rd and 6 with the ball at the Lincoln 47. Glaze coming up to the line of scrimmage. He's going to bring the pressure off the edge. The quick hit to the far side. Isaiah Grant on the reception. He needed 6. He picked up 3.
Nice tackle on the outside, too, by Granite Hills. And Lincoln going for it here for the second time on 4th down. Or at least they look like they're going to.
7 in the box, 3 receivers to the right of Smith. Jackson in the backfield. Smith trying to draw Granite Hills off sides. The defense holding their water. The defensive crowd to their feet. And Lincoln will call a timeout.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You tried to get, I don't know, either Smith is going to minor as a thespian at the University of Oregon when he goes there in 2 years and was just trying to fake out Granite Hills, or he really was confused as to what the play call was. I think they tried to get Granite to jump. Nice credit to Granite being disciplined and staying where they needed to stay. And then the crowd got into it on Granite Hill's side to the far side of the field to our right. And then a wise timeout by Lincoln at that stage.
And this is just as much as a testament to how confident Lincoln is in their defense, punting this ball away.
Yeah, and they're going to bring the punting unit on and not go for it on 4th down. And I agree with this here. I mean, there's being aggressive, but there's also, if you don't get this, you stall out at midfield and you give Granite Hills a short field again. And we just saw what they did with 38 yards away from the end zone. They scored pretty quickly. So anything you can do to flip this to the other side is beneficial.
Trevor Smith back to return his heels at the 20. Aiden Billups back to punt for the Hornets. And
that's not much of a kick. Well, now in hindsight, maybe you go for it on 4th down, but you didn't know that was going to happen. I still think it's the right move, but just unfortunate that the kick was short and you don't get much yardage out of it.
Yeah, 12-yard punt on that one by Billups.
Looks like they're going to spot it. Let's see, are they going to put it at the 39?
So officially a 12-yard punt by Billups.
Yeah.
And, Lincoln doesn't punt the ball that often.
No. Well, they usually don't need to. They're usually in the end zone, or they're going for it on the opponent's side of the field.
Right.
But at the midfield marker in this game, I think that's a good call. I mean, sure, they would have liked to have gotten the ball inside the 30 or the 20, but short of that, this is certainly a far better defensive position than the last time they punted and Granite Hills started at the Lincoln 38.
Pablo Jackson, the single back to the left of Benitez. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right of the freshman quarterback. First time a freshman quarterback has started in the Open Division Championship game. Jackson off the right side. Crosses the 45 and doesn't look like a lot of room, but these small running backs of Granite Hills knows how to pick up yards. They have a nose for it, Jeff.
Well, and the offensive line is massive, so in some ways they can hide. They can hide back there, and suddenly, boom, there they go, 7 yards down the field.
6 yards, bringing up a 2nd and 4. Jackson stutters at the line of scrimmage and falls forward for a short gain of 1.
Well, and you also have to be patient. I mean, Jackson and Turner, they've got to wait for the blocks to set up, see where the holes are, and they don't hit the hole too quickly, and then they let their offensive line flow to the direction the play is supposed to go. And that takes a lot of patience. I mean, if your job is to get downhill quickly, there's going to be an urge to go fast, but not for these guys.
Turner on 3rd down. Needed 3, and it looks like he might have got 1. Journey Tala now into the game, replacing Rashad Scott, who has yet to see action after the injury.
And now you've got an interesting call coming up here for Granite Hills. Do you try going for it on 4th and 2? Do you try to get your opponent to jump? They've only got 1 timeout left, so they couldn't run the clock down. We still have 6 minutes to play here in the second quarter.
Looks like they're bringing in the big boys, Jeff.
They are. They're going that Wildcat formation that got them the touchdown.
This is single back Maxwell Turner. They feel confident up front. Turner off the left side falls forward.
Ooh, that's close.
Near the 1st down marker.
That is close. He needed to get to the 49. He may have just done it. We are pretty much right on line with that. Great job by our camera crew.
They're going to have to bring out the chains for this one, Jeff.
Now, if Jerome Roberts was...
No,
they're not.
No chains needed.
Jerome Roberts said they didn't get it, and he was right.
They needed 2, picked up 1.5, and a turnover on downs. Great stop by that Lincoln defense.
And credit the referee crew as well. That is a tough spot to make. I mean, if in the Mountain West, we get a chance to do replay on that and see if we got it in the right location. They're eyeballing that thing, and I think they got it right.
Yeah, not a lot of push up front. Great job by that front line and front 7 of Lincoln. Smith has 1 passing touchdown on the game in the first quarter to Gray. Smith looks right, rolls right, has some receivers downfield, but great coverage by the Eagles secondary again, and he's just going to have to throw that one away.
Well, and I think his receivers on that play need to do a little bit better job, and they're very good. Like Drayden Garner got down the field, and he was being covered by Parker Vance, and instead of then, when your quarterback starts scrambling, you cut back hard to an open spot in that zone, he just sort of rounded it off. I think they could do a little bit better job helping out Smith when he has to roll out against this rush by finding an open gap.
C.J. Williams checks back in. The single back to the left hip pocket of Smith. He'll get the handoff up the middle and falls forward for a nice gain. The tackle by the middle linebacker, number 54, Tyler Bertolin, the senior.
Yeah, Williams is very similar in stature to Pablo Jackson and Max Turner. I mean, they're all very similar style backs. Aiden Jackson and Donald Reed are a little bit bigger.
More ground and pound.
Yeah, but Williams, still a big kid, but a little bit more along the other guy's side of things.
Williams needed 4, picked up 2, and another 4th and short, Jeff.
Now here, I think you go for it if you're Lincoln.
Moshe Talea on the tackle, the defensive tackle.
You're in a 4th and 2. You just kick the ball away. Granite Hills started at their 39. They didn't get very far. Your defense is good. I think this is a good opportunity to go for it.
4:38 and counting in the first half. Lincoln 13, Granite Hills 6, and we have a flag behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, that may change the equation now.
4th and 2 turns into a 4th and 7. after the illegal substitution.
That's the 4th penalty of the game against Lincoln. Yeah, now, I mean, you could go for it here too. Or you could play field position. I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking field position now at this point. They're going to keep their offense on the field.
Smith is going to remain on the field. 6'6" junior.
I mean, we haven't seen him quick kick it this year, though a quarterback could do that. He could step back and do it, but they're looking like they're going to go for it.
Aiden Jackson, the single back. Bunch right for the Hornets. Smith looks that way, and we have a flag before the snap.
Timeout.
No flag. Timeout called.
It's a good thing because of the 3-receiver stack on the near side. One of them slipped and fell, so that play was going to turn into a little bit of a dumpster fire in a hurry, I think, if they hadn't called the timeout.
Was that a situation where the offense wanted to see what the defense was doing and called the timeout right before the snap?
Yeah, it could be. I didn't get the sense that Lincoln was confidently assessing what was happening.
Right.
I think it looked more like they looked a little hurried and rushed in how they were choosing to take on the play. So I think the timeout stemmed more from that point of view, I think,
right.
Bo, than, okay, they're in a cover 2, cover 1, here's what we're going to do.
And
now they're going to go to the
yep.
punt. And I think, honestly, I think this is the wise move, especially after the penalty. You've got 4th and long situation, and you can get the ball. I mean, Billups is not going to kick it the way he did the previous play every single time. They should get the ball inside the 25-yard line.
Back to return is Trevor Smith, the junior. Billups, a better punt. Gets a Lincoln roll.
There we go.
And I think the Hornets will take that.
Yes, they will. Much better. Nice bounce-back punt by Aiden Billups.
Yeah, on a stage like this, one mistake can multiply, and both of these teams so strong in big games, so it's not surprised to see Billups come on with a nice punt.
I mean, I know Lincoln fans are used to seeing a lot of points, but that's a wise move in a championship game. Granite Hills has 1 timeout. They've got 3:50 to go. Now they got to go 86 yards to try to tie the game before the half. I think that was a smart and prudent decision by the coaching staff for the Hornets.
And you mentioned a moment ago when Granite was on offense, it really, other than that big run by Turner, Lincoln defense has stifled the offense. Benitez rolls right. Has a receiver wide open at the 40, and he is going to go all the way for the score. Josh Zander with the 86-yard touchdown.
Well, so much for the strategy. Broken coverage. You only had 1 member of the secondary and 2 receivers in the vicinity. And then you get yourself an 86-yard touchdown pass as the guys going to break up the play, trip over each other. Granite Hills is an extra point away from tying it up.
Josh Zander had the game-tying touchdown in overtime last week and a big touchdown here tonight for his 6th receiving touchdown on the season, measuring 86 yards from Benitez. Robert Petrich on for the extra point. Lincoln was up 13 to start the game. And ladies and gentlemen, this game is now tied at 13 with 3:38 remaining in the first half. If you expected any different, you're fooling yourself.
Well, if you got your monthly subscription for last week's games, you are getting your money's worth here if you watch those two and this one. And, folks, we've got coverage coming your way here on the NFHS Network all next weekend as well. More San Diego Section Football Championships, Divisions 1 through 4. Section Championships taking place up and down the state of California, all available on your network pass. We've got every game in the state of California available to you, and then we'll be covering the regional finals and state finals as well, games you'll be able to watch here on the NFHS Network. So what a bargain.
And, Jeff, I broadcasted the Girls Flag Football Championships. If you are on the NFHS Network, you can go back and check those games out. The talent on the field was impressive, to say the least.
Yeah, there's good talent everywhere on high school fields and gyms across the country right now. It's fun to watch.
Isaiah Grant looks across the field, has some space, crosses the 25, has a block downfield, and gets near the 50. A great return by Isaiah Grant.
That's a great return by Grant, but let's credit A.J. Lytle-Olsen with the fantastic job. He doesn't make the tackle, but he takes on
Great
the blocker and angles it in such a way that it forces Grant out of bounds shy of midfield. And if he doesn't do that, Grant is in the end zone.
If he cuts back, it's game over.
Yep. That's just a great job on special teams after a big run by Lincoln.
Jackson, the single back, gets hit at the line of scrimmage, spins off the would-be tackler, and the tackle by middle linebacker Tyler Bertolin, 6'1", 210 linebacker.
No need to rush if you're Lincoln. You've got a couple timeouts you can use. We aren't even to the 3-minute mark of the second quarter. Got a ton of time. You're now at the 50-yard line with a 2nd and 8.
Jackson averages 7 yards on the ground. Flip sides from the right to the left. Smith checks at the line. Looks left.
Oh, that's a nice catch.
Nice diving grab by Joseph Benavente, his 14th reception on the season.
That's a tough one right there. It doesn't get a lot of yards, but what an athletic play by Benavente, a player that offensive coordinator Jason Carter said has been really coming on in the back half of the season. They've been giving him more opportunities.
That great grab goes from what could have been a 3rd and 8 to a 3rd and 4. Smith, nobody open.
Oh, now he's got somebody
take that
open.
Back.
Oh, he dropped the ball.
It inside the 10.
Number 5.
Nobody open to the right. Smith checks to the left. The corner had to step up, and a wide open pass dropped by Woods.
Trennis Woods, that's the equivalent, Bo, of having a wide open layup, and you think about it too much. There was nobody around him. The ball a little underthrown. Oh, a huge opportunity for Lincoln missed.
4th and 5. Smith inside the 40.
That's a nice catch.
31.
Benavente.
Yeah, absorbing a hit at the same time.
2 big grabs on this drive, picking up a huge 4th down, converting on a 4th and 5. Reed up the gut.
54.
Hit first by Bartolin, but Reed stays upright, moves his feet, and picks up a couple extra.
Yeah, nice job. That's a good bounce back play from Smith. It would be easy to get in your head after your receiver drops the ball when he's wide open in the end zone. But
right back up to the line. And a great open field tackle reception by Makai Gray, but the tackle by Jordan Glaze for a tackle for loss.
Of course, anytime there's a big tackle for Granite Hills, Jordan Glaze, you're going to mention his name. He is always in the vicinity.
Yeah, not only the ability to play near the line of scrimmage, but cover in the secondary as well. Glaze is such a great hybrid linebacker safety, as you mentioned earlier, Jeff.
All right, now this is where Lincoln may want to step up the tempo a little bit, coming down to the 1-minute mark of the second quarter.
1:10 and counting, 3rd and 6 at the Granite Hills 36. Smith, pressure off the edge by Ford, and he's going to throw this away. No receiver in the vicinity.
They're good. I mean, Lincoln's trying to point it.
The only out would be if Achilles Smith got outside the tackle box.
I don't think he did. I mean, the coaching staff is pointing at C.J. Williams and saying he's in the neighborhood, but it's a pretty big neighborhood. I don't think they're going to get it.
And the Granite Hills defense steps up once again.
And it's a 5-yard penalty from the spot of the throw. So that's back at the Lincoln 42-yard line.
Ball was at the 36.
That's a huge loss on that penalty.
A loss of 30.
I mean, that is a huge blow for Lincoln. I mean, I could see what Smith was trying to do with it, and usually he's able to run away from defensive rushers, but
the edge rushers
Ford is too
White.
fast. Yeah, Ford and White are too quick.
Billups back to punt. Smith back to return. The line drive punt. Possibly, that's oftentimes a very dangerous punt, that line drive. Special teams not expecting it. Lincoln will down it at the Granite Hills 34 with 48 seconds remaining. 13-13 ball game here on the NFHS Network, coming to you live from Snapdragon. Bo Furtick, Jeff Kurtz here on tonight's call, and it's 13 unanswered for the Eagles offense, Jeff.
And now they've got 48 seconds. Before, when they had the football, I said, well, they've only got one timeout. They got 3 minutes. It's going to be a long road, and then they scored on one play, 86 yards. So I don't know what Coach Cobbs has got dialed up here, but I'm putting nothing past him.
Turner onto the field as the single back. 2 receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right of Benitez. Benitez looks right, is hit in the backfield, and he goes down. Eugene Rice on the sack.
Nice to see Rice back in there. First sack of the game for Lincoln. And for Rice, a big play there to set up a 2nd and long.
Under 30 seconds remaining. And after that big sack, Eagles in no real rush. Pass towards the sidelines. Brendan Lewis, they want a flag and get a late flag.
They are. I mean, that's just giving Granite Hills openings to make plays. I mean, he's trying to get out of bounds. You've got him on the sideline. Let him get out of bounds.
That will bring up a first down.
At the 49 now. And remember, Grant still has that timeout. They probably got 3 plays here. If they can get into field goal range.
And Robert Petrich has a leg on him. 20 seconds now in Lincoln territory. And the receiver's on the far side, and we have another late flag.
This one might go against Granite Hills, though.
Casa was thrown down by the lineman from Granite Hills. Clock stops at 17 seconds.
Well, that mic for our referee sounds like my cell phone calls when I'm going over the top of the 52 in Santee, but that was a definite personal foul there against Granite Hills.
Turner, the single back. Quick hit far side.
11-6.
And that might just end this first half action here.
Yeah, I think both coaching staffs. Well, let's see. Was it? Oh, Granite Hills is going to call a
Granite
timeout.
wants another shot.
Okay.
Josh Zander on the reception. Looks like we might get a nice heave into the end zone, Jeff, with 5 seconds remaining.
Going to test Mr. Benitez's arm. Or maybe a little hook and ladder play somewhere.
The freshman completed 75% of his passes last week against Granite Hills, 23 for 31, only 1 passing touchdown, but he did all he needed to do to pull out that victory last week.
And again, and I'll probably say this a few more times during the course of the broadcast, this is a freshman going against Carlsbad on the road in the Open Division semifinal.
Hostile environment.
And last year he had homeroom. I mean, like that's really what we're talking about here. I mean, you've got the kid stepping up in a huge situation and does not looks like he's been doing this all his life.
The split backfield, Turner and Jackson. Benitez, 2 receivers to his left. He's going to step up in the pocket, pressure.
That's smart.
And he's just going to go
Take
down.
a knee. Good call. That was not going to go well. And that's a smart play by Benitez just to take the knee. Bo, we got 24 more minutes of football, and it might as well be 0-0, 13-13 going into the break.
Lincoln jumped out to a 13-0 lead. Then Granite Hills responds with 13 points unanswered. Tied at 13. We'll head into halftime. Stay with us here on the NFHS Network. And thank you for staying with us here on the NFHS Network, the halftime show. Bo Furtick, Jeff Kurtz coming to you live from Snapdragon. 13-13 ball game. Let's quickly get through the scoring. Achilles Smith to Mackay Gray started the scoring with a 35-yard touchdown. Then a Jamarian Herbert block punt recovered by Jerome Roberts gave Hornets the early 13-0 lead. Granite Hills responds. Maxwell Turner with his 16th rushing touchdown on the season. Then the biggest play, offensive play at least, in that first half, Benitez to Josh Zander, 86-yard touchdown to tie it at 13, Jeff.
There's some interesting first half stats, Bo. I mean, Lincoln's got 8 first downs in the game. Granite Hills 4. 2 penalties for 20 yards for Granite Hills, 6 for 41 for Lincoln. But the stat that's really standing out to me, and I think is going to be a difference in the second half, third down conversions. Lincoln is 2 of 8, and Granite Hills is 1 of 6. Whichever offense can start converting on third down and moving the sticks and getting a long, sustaining drive going, I think is the team that's going to come out ahead. Right now, the defenses are playing well enough that they're keeping the scoring low. They're doing a nice job keeping the offenses from getting into rhythm. How you start seeing rhythm changes is on those third down conversions. I mean, sure, yeah, if you can get a first down in 8 plays and score and it's all on second down, great, you'll take that too. But at some point, you're going to have to convert a couple of third downs, and neither offense is doing well at that at the moment.
And it really hasn't been the long, sustained drives. It's been the big impact plays. Talking to Coach Carter before the game, and he mentioned the big play ability on both sides, and we saw that in the first half.
Yeah, well, you've got the 86-yard touchdown pass by Benitez to Zander, and then you've got the block punt touchdown as well, and that Smith to Gray touchdown pass covered over 30 yards.
Right,
so that, I
right.
mean, those are not, usually what a non-big play is the 1-yard touchdown run by Turner. That's at the end of a sustained drive. If you're getting a 15, 20, 30-yard run, an 86-yard pass play, and that's turning into points, those are your big plays that you're talking about.
But it was that big passing play from Benitez to Zander to set them up for that 1-yard touchdown as well. Granite Hills will start with the ball here in the second half, and it seems like the momentum is on the Granite Hills side right now after 13 points unanswered.
Yeah, Lincoln looked a little more uncertain, especially offensively, toward the latter stages of the second quarter, and Granite Hills has scored twice and caught the Lincoln defense in a couple of mistake situations. So this is going to be a really interesting drive here for the Eagles to see if they can get on top for the first time in the game.
And it's been the Lincoln special teams with a blocked extra point and a blocked punt to give them that touchdown. That brings us to 13-13. Maxwell Turner, Pablo Jackson back to return for the Granite Hills Eagles. The Open Division San Diego Section Championship game. No team has gone back-to-back wins in the Open Section. We have 24 minutes. And who knows? We've seen overtimes plenty here in the latter part of the season. Pablo Jackson splits through 2 would-be tacklers, crosses the 30, and that's where Granite Hills will start the second half.
That's good field position. Nice return by Jackson. And you'll take this kind of field position if you're Granite Hills. I think Kellen Cobbs and his coaching staff did a great job in the first half. They used some timeouts early. They used one late, and they really did a nice job controlling the pace and keeping the team on an even keel, even though they got down early. But again, we talked about Grossmont Conference teams don't often give up early, and this was one of them.
The split backfield, Jackson gets the carry and is pushed backwards by Jerome Roberts and gang.
Yeah, gang included Valenzuela.
As well as Casa.
Yeah, they were all in there.
Gain of 2. Turner on the run again, this time off the left side. Hit near the line of scrimmage for no gain.
That time it was Rice with the tackle.
Yeah, Rice has been big for them in the middle. We saw Rashad Scott go down in that first half. And it looks like he's back in the game, so that's great to see for Lincoln in the middle. Herbert and Casa off the edge. Lincoln brings 4. Benitez rolls right, looks downfield, wants his receiver to come back, and is tracked down by Casa for the sack.
That's a great job in the secondary by Lincoln because they had the edge rusher blocked and really smothered Granite Hills on the side that Benitez was rolling out to, so that should have created a ton of room to find an open receiver. There was just nobody available.
Munir Casa, the linebacker, standing at 5'11", 185 with his team-leading 13 sacks on the season.
That's the second sack of the game for the Hornets.
And a 3-and-out. Isaiah Grant back to return for Lincoln. And a nice boot rolls out of bounds from Brendan Lewis.
Yeah, that's a nice pump by Lewis. Not only did you angle it and get good yardage on that punt, but you angled it toward the sideline. And even when it took a hop, Lincoln didn't really have a chance on the return to scoop it up and try to make a move.
Lincoln's defense does their job with a 3-and-out. Achilles Smith with one passing touchdown on the night comes back onto the field to start the second half. C.J. Williams, the single back. The strength to the right side. Williams up the middle with a nice lane, tripped up by Bartolin, but not for a nice gain of 7.
I'd like to see Lincoln doing exactly what they're doing here. Up to the line of scrimmage, snap the football quickly.
Williams again, this time off the left side, has a lane, crosses the 40, and is tackled by Trevor Smith in the secondary. Another nice game, back-to-back runs from Williams, the junior.
Yeah, and let's see if they get up to the line and snap it quickly again. I like this. Let's play a little hurry-up football here. I think will get Lincoln's blood moving again.
Tight end Northermeyer, when he's been on the field, Lincoln has been running the ball. Confusion from Smith to Williams. Has a receiver wide open down the sideline, inside the 40. That's Gardner. And once again, that corner coming off the edge, leaving a receiver wide open down the boundary.
Well, and part of it, that was a busted play from the beginning. Smith turned to his left to hand the ball off to somebody. He was handing it off to nobody as Williams went right, and you've got 2 penalty markers down. But credit Smith.
Legal man downfield, first call.
That's going to bring it back.
Yeah.
Well, and Smith is so good. It looks like he's going to run, and then he's very good. He did this against Helix on that 2-minute drive at the end of the game to force overtime. He started to go forward on a 4th down and then backed up and threw against his body, backing up on the play, and got himself a first down. So here he did the same thing, but that penalty brings it back.
Jackson on the run off the left side, and tough for the offensive lineman because that was a set-up run, one of the reasons why they were downfield.
Exactly.
Jackson on the season.
You got an injured player down for Granite Hills, too. That's Moshe Talia.
That's a tough hit. He is the anchor up front for that Granite Hills defense. 9:24 remaining in the third quarter. 2nd and 7 with the ball at the Lincoln 49. And Lincoln's coming out with the run, Jeff, to start the second half.
They are. And that's good. I mean, a little bit of Williams. Then they give it to Aiden Jackson. I'm sure we'll see Reed in here shortly as well. It's a night. I mean, Roderick Robinson was so good. And you wondered, just being outside the program, well, how do you fill his shoes?
Right.
Well, Achilles Smith comes in. You think, okay, well, now it's going to be a passing attack. Of course, right? You've got Achilles Smith.
Right.
You're going to use it as a passing attack. But Reed, Jackson, and Williams have not gotten a lot of PR going in. I mean, people knew they were good players, but how good are they going to be? They have been a more than acceptable fill-in for Roderick Robinson to provide an ample running game for Lincoln. One of the 2 schools in the San Diego section, you could call Helix and Lincoln, 2 of the top running back locations historically.
RBU, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And so they've done a nice job, the 3 of them, filling some very big shoes.
Well, you asked how good. 7 yards per carry good, Jeff, for all 3 of those backs. Donald Reed eclipsed 600 rushing yards on the season in this matchup, crosses the 50. And once again, middle linebacker Tyler Bertolin, the senior, standing at 6'1", 210 with the tackle.
Now here's one of these 3rd down conversion opportunities for Lincoln. Granite Hills had one. They couldn't. Can Lincoln move the sticks here on 3rd down?
3rd and 5 with Williams in the backfield. He'll get it off the right side, falls forward, and it's not going to be enough for a first down. It's going to bring up a 4th and short for the Hornets. Once again, Bertolin on the tackle.
They look like they're going to go for it.
Williams hitting the backfield, keeps his feet moving, and crosses the first down.
What a great second effort by Williams. He looked like he was going to be dead in the backfield. That was a nice job getting penetration by Rowan Haynes, but Haynes couldn't hold on. Williams with some hard running there, Bo. I mean, he's a junior, Reed's a junior, Jackson's a junior. They're all coming back.
Northmeyer, the tight end, wing back. Smith looks left. Nobody open downfield. He'll roll left and is tracked down by the linebacker Rowan Haynes for no gain.
Williams had slipped out to the right. And if Smith had a chance to roll that way. There was a lot of open grass around C.J. Williams.
Coach Cobbs mentioned before the game we don't want Smith rolling right. They're going to keep him contained that way. Williams off the right side. And the rally from the Eagles defense. Williams picks up a short gain.
Yeah, and even the offensive line is wanting those play calls to come in quickly. They're feeling it. They feel like they've got a little bit of – they're building up a little bit of a sweat. They're getting it going. They like this momentum.
Jackson in the backfield. Smith, a clean pocket. Throw over the middle. Has his receiver in the end zone. Touchdown, Hornets. Isaiah Grant with the touchdown reception. And the dime from Achilles Smith Jr.
You are not supposed to be able to do that at the high school level. I mean, that pass was so pretty. That could not have been any better if Smith had walked it down the field and handed it to Grant in the end zone. What a throw.
Isaiah Grant's 5th receiving touchdown on the season and a team-leading 40th reception on the season gives Lincoln back the lead, 19-13. Benavidez, extra point is good, and Lincoln back up a touchdown, Jeff.
Well, that is an emphatic third down conversion, Bo. You had a third down situation. Neither team is converting very well. We talked about who can do it first. We'll maybe get an upper hand here. And on a beautiful big pass play, they convert in spades, do the Hornets.
And that was one of the first times we had seen a clean pocket for Achilles Smith. He was able to step up and deliver that pass downfield.
And what touch. I mean, that pass is going over 45 yards with, I mean, the receiver just ran right into it. You know, they didn't have to come back and make a play. Usually at the high school level, you see, oh, they got to make a play somehow. And the coverage wasn't bad. There were two guys right there. They just couldn't reach it. Just a fantastic throw.
Jackson and Turner back to receive for the Eagles. Let's see how they respond with 7:39 remaining in the third quarter. Lincoln has never trailed in this game, up 13-0 to start the contest. And Granite roared back, scoring 13 of their own. Ball fell off the tee.
There was a high wind warning in San Diego earlier today, but we're not getting any of that through Snapdragon.
Oh, this is a beautiful evening for high school football, for any type of football to be that. And a great crowd on hand as well from both sides. This ball checks at the 22, scooped up by Jackson. He'll cross the field with some space to roam and run, crosses the 30.
Yeah, we're going to have a penalty, though. There's an illegal block coming here.
See what the flag is.
Granite Hills hasn't had many penalties in the game. This will just be their third if it's against the Eagles.
The 2 fouls on the play, both under the 22. Holding number 38, that penalty is declined. Holding number 81, that penalty is accepted. 10 yards to the spot of the foul. First down, Granite Hills.
Well, Bo, if you're going to commit penalties on a play, you might as well do several. There were two holding penalties, one declined, one accepted, so Granite Hills with the ball back at the 15-yard line.
This will be the second offensive possession for Granite Hills that starts the second half. Pablo Jackson, the single back, to the right hip pocket of Benitez. One passing touchdown on the night, over 100 passing yards in the first half. Jackson had 100 rushing yards last week against Carlsbad, and he falls forward for a short gain. Micah Valenzuela first to the ball.
Nice hard running by Jackson on a snap that Benitez almost went right to Jackson. Benitez barely had a chance to get his hands on it before handing it off to his running back.
Jackson remains in the ball game. 3 receivers to the right of Benitez. He'll get it to Jackson out in the flats and a little bit behind the running back. Lincoln was there, though, Jeff. They had guys rallying to the ball.
Yeah, that was and a situation where Jackson just didn't have his feet under him. You know, that was a pass that maybe could have used slightly more touch. Jackson may be expecting it where he had more momentum running forward to catch the football.
2 receivers to the left and right of Benitez. Benitez near side. overthrows his intended receiver, Brendan Lewis. No flag thrown, and well covered in the secondary by Lincoln.
There was a lot of hand fighting going on there between Lewis and Garner. But another third down. That's now 1 of 8 for Granite Hills on third down conversions in this game.
Lincoln has 2 number 15s. That does not look like
I know.
Dre
I was
Gardner.
going to say, I'm double checking my roster again.
Yeah, and they don't have 2 15s on the roster.
Garner's the only one listed, but I don't remember seeing him play defensive back very often.
And that's not the size of Dre Gardner either.
Yes.
He's about a 180.
I know. I was questioning myself as I was reading that off.
And nice punt by the Eagles, but it's going to be good field position for the Lincoln Hornets offense after a big touchdown.
It's been interesting to watch how this game has ebbed and flowed because Lincoln sprints out to the lead in the end of the first quarter, and then Granite Hills comes back, and you think the Eagles have the momentum. Lincoln goes down and scores, and now they can get a 2-score advantage again that they held in the first quarter on this possession. They're starting out with, like you said, Bo, great field position. Can they take advantage of it?
Can we say certain teams play better from behind than ahead?
You can.
Okay.
I mean, Granite Hills has proved to be one of them.
4 receivers to the right of Achilles Smith. He's going to look that way, and a quick hit to C.J. Williams in open space. Cuts backfield, gets by one defender, but is rolled down by Tyler Bertolin.
That is a great heads-up play by Williams. He had no blockers over there and looked like he was going to be caught for a short gain and really planted his foot and went. That was a nice play.
Williams picks up 9 on the reception. Woods in motion. Williams is going to get the handoff, bounces it to the left side, and gets through a would-be tackler near the 40. Tackle in the open field by Parker Vance, the junior cornerback.
Williams is having himself a game. You asked Coach Carter, are you going to go with a guy who has the hot hand? And I think he's found him. Williams, he didn't. He was like, oh, all of them are going to get a chance. They feed off each other, and that's true. Reed now in the game, but Williams is doing a great job out there.
Reed to the left hip pocket of Achilles Smith. Nice job by Smith, scooping it. Deep pass to Gardner in double coverage, and a flag is thrown.
That's going to be pass interference against Granite Hills. And will be a 15-yard penalty and give the Hornets a first down.
And the pass interference on Nicoy Maddox coming in over the top. Got there a little too early, Jeff. Great job by Achilles Smith scooping that ball up and trying to make a play, though.
Yeah, I don't know if the Lincoln Hornets baseball team needs a shortstop, but that was a 2-hopper right back to him that he fielded cleanly.
Donald Reed into the game. 17-3. And Isaiah Grant also the split back to the left hip pocket. Now Reed in motion. Handed off to Reed, up the middle, has a lane, gets by one tackler inside the 10, eludes another, and Donald Reed, his 9th rushing touchdown on the season from 25 yards out.
That was a great cutback, stutter step, stop and go move by Reed inside the 10-yard line to free himself. Just the versatility of these running backs. Pretty remarkable that you've got 3 really good ones at Lincoln.
And Lincoln now back up 2 scores, 26-13, with 5:47 remaining in the third quarter. Benavidez on for the extra point. And the extra point is wide left. So the lead remains 13 here in the third quarter. Lincoln starting the second half with a big play over the top in the air and great rushing attack from Williams and Reed, Jeff.
And now we've got deja vu all over again, Bo. Lincoln was up 13-0 after a missed 2-point conversion, and then they get the extra point. Now they're up 13 here in the third quarter after the missed extra point. But you said something a moment ago that I thought was really interesting. You said, is it fair to say that some teams play better from behind? And I don't know if Granite Hills coaching staff would prefer that.
Exactly,
it's probably a lot more stressful.
Right.
I don't know how much Coach Cobbs has to go to the Maylocks when he's down by 2 scores in an open division game, but again, no quit in these Eagles. But the key here is third down conversions. They've got to move the football a little bit. Right now, Lincoln's 4 out of 10 on third down conversions. They're improving that percentage. Granite Hills at 1 for 8. So I think that's really important. If they want to have a long, sustained drive right now, they got to convert some of those.
Benavidez with the pooch kick. Turner brings it in at the, that's Jackson. Crosses the field, gets across the 30. And once again, the special teams of Lincoln doing a good job.
Nice job. Hustling across to make that tackle.
Arath Leva on the tackle.
Yeah, Leva on special teams. Well, Granite Hills, they had a couple of these moments in the first half, right, Bo? And they went the entire first quarter without scoring. So in the second quarter, they had the football. They got it right before the end of the first. They need to come up with a score. This is one of those times. You can't let Lincoln go up by 3 scores late in the third, early in the fourth quarter. You got to get a score here.
And Granite Hills has the big boys up front. Turner off the left side, lowers his shoulder. There's a flag thrown behind the line of scrimmage in the area of holding.
Yep. And this will be a spot foul, so it's a yard deep in the backfield. You're going to end up losing 11 yards out of this. And that's what happens when you've got, your offensive line for Granite Hills is bigger than the defensive line for Lincoln. But Lincoln's players like to knife between 2 offensive linemen. So if they can do that and they beat you, all you can really do is wrap them up. And I think that's been happening on some of these.
Rashad Scott back into the contest alongside Rice. And Rice on cue with the sack. Brings down Benitez for a big loss.
3rd sack of the game for the Hornets.
And second for Eugene Rice. And a big one coming up on the 5-minute mark here in the third.
Benitez has to come out, I think, because the helmet came off. He's got to come out for one play. He was really frustrated by that, too. I haven't seen much emotion from him. That's not a knock. That's just been, he's been very steady, but boy, he's frustrated after that.
Jackson in on the Wildcat, hands it off to Turner. No threat on the pass. And the Hornets front 7 rallies to the ball, led by middle linebacker Jerome Roberts. Roberts averaging 14 tackles per game, Jeff, on the season.
And now 3rd down and an acre. Benitez can come back in. They've got to get to the 44-yard line. They're back at their 17.
Benitez.
Oh, that's a great play call.
Liberty. Jackson gets by the one defender near the first down marker, tackled just shy of the first down marker. He needed 26. He picked up 25 and a half.
Well, now maybe you go for it.
We've seen
that's a great play call
in big situations where they need a play. And, 3rd and 26, you're thinking it's going to be a pass, and they run a draw, kind of Statue Liberty-esque with the handoff behind Jackson.
And then you bring all the big guys in, and Lincoln's going to call a timeout. Look, if you want to win a section championship in the open division, you've got to get, when you're down 13 here late in the third quarter, you've got to get first downs on a 4th and less than a yard.
And we've seen Granite go for it in a similar situation with the ball in similar position on the field. 3:46. It seems like they would stick to their guns with the running attack of either Turner or Jackson. It seems in short yardage situations, it's been Turner that they've leaned on.
Yeah, I think here, they were already sending out every large player they could find on their sideline. That's a wise move. This is just physics right now, and that's what Granite Hills is counting on. They just want to lean forward. They don't even need a full yard. It's maybe, a football length and a half. That's it. You got to be able to get this.
Jackson onto the field, student body right. Jackson runs behind those big guys. Needed a half a yard and picked up 2 for a first down. Roberts on the tackle.
Nice job. But credit, again, the Granite Hills coaching staff, they come up with some fantastic play calls in really nerve-wracking moments, What do you have for a 3rd and long like that? you've got a Statue of Liberty play that gets you almost all the way there.
And they're going to stay with the big boys. Oh, the throw over the middle has a receiver wide open inside the 20, and he'll go all the way for a 55-yard touchdown. Pablo Jackson to Parker Vance. You talk about great play calls, Jeff.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, dialing up a fantastic play call at a dicey time. You need a touchdown. You get a touchdown after converting on a 4th down play. We had a Statue of Liberty, and then out of the Wildcat, Jackson takes a couple steps forward and lobs the ball to his tight end, who races in for a score.
We often see that play near the goal line. You know, Tim Tebow, Derrick Henry at the NFL level. You rarely see that near midfield, Jeff.
Yeah, that's a fantastic call by the coaching staff.
Petrich on for the extra point, up and good. And we've been in this game multiple times where it seemed like Granite Hills was down and out, and they come up with another big play.
Yeah, now they're down by 1 possession again. So it's on the Lincoln offense to keep that in that 7 to 14-point range.
3:30 remaining in the third. Bo Furtick, Jeff Kurtz here on the NFHS Network.
It must be fun to go to Granite Hills football practices, because you never know as the players, hey, what are we going to do today? We're putting in a Statue of Liberty play? Okay, great. Wildcat pass to the tight end, really just a jump shot over the defensive line. Okay, that's cool. Let's go with a double reverse flea flicker later in the game.
Yeah, Parker Vance just leaked out on the backside, and Jerome Roberts, he's quick sideline to sideline, but he's not defensive back fast, and that's what Parker Vance used his speed to separate. And the kick in the end zone, Lincoln 2 for 2 on the offensive side for touchdowns. See if they can make it 3 for 3 here with 3:30 remaining in the third.
That was a nice job by Petrich putting in the end zone for a touchback. You know, and San Diego County has been so strong in the kicking game over the last 15 to 20 years, where you just had guys consistently putting the ball in the back of the end zone. We've seen a lot more pooch kicks here in the postseason, I think, than I've seen in a long time. But relying on your kicker with a good leg to get it to the other team to start at the 20-yard line, that's a weapon that you can't overemphasize.
Jackson, the single back, and Northmeyer, the tight end, as the wing back. 2 receivers to the left of Smith. Jackson cuts upfield and falls forward.
Granite Hills fans, after that touchdown, they're pretty much from the 50-yard line to the right and all the way into the end zone to our right-hand side. And they're really trying to rally the defense here to get a stop.
Jackson again up the middle, hit behind the line of scrimmage, and there's a flag on the far side of the field. Looks like offsides Granite Hills.
That's going to get Lincoln a first down through a penalty.
And Moshe Talea back into the contest for Granite Hills up front, Jeff.
That's good to see. You hate to see anybody get injured and then not be able to come back. I mean, in games like this, your high school career could be the last one you play if you're a senior. I mean, obviously, whoever wins this game will go on to regionals and then potentially state finals, so maybe some more football to play, but you hate to see it end on an injury.
6 in the box. They bring all 6 on an all-out blitz. And Smith just gets rid of it.
Well, they are doing a nice job, Granite Hills, forcing Smith to roll left. And Coach Cobb said it. We don't think he's as strong rolling to his left as he is to his right. That's definitely something for Smith to work on in the offseason.
Oh, as most quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, but you know that if you've got an area of weakness, develop it.
Right. Jackson, the single back. He'll get the handoff again. Hit near the line of scrimmage. And is twirled down by Bertolin. Bertolin having a big game here tonight.
And Glaze once again in on that tackle as well. Yeah, Bertolin, we're calling his name a lot, though. He's been involved in a lot of plays in the interior.
Williams checks back in along with Aiden Jackson.
Big third down for this Granite Hills defense.
We've seen Williams in the backfield, and we've also seen him in the receiving game as well. Smith near side. Throws his receiver out of bounds, too high, intended receiver, Isaiah Grant, can't drag his feet.
It's a nice catch by Grant, just a little bit too far away, and the punting unit's going to have to come on. Nice job by Granite Hills, just giving up the 1 first down on the penalty and then not folding defensively, but sticking in there and then getting a punt situation coming up for the Hornets at the 31-yard line.
Aiden Billett back on to punt. Trevor Smith back to return. He's standing at the Granite Hills 40-yard line. Billups with a nice spiraling punt. Checks at the 45 and gets a Hornet roll.
It's a nice kick.
Yeah. He's been better ever since that first attempt.
Yeah. Well, that's not, he's not normally going to shank punts. That's one of those unfortunate incidences that gave Granite Hills a short field to work with. But he's been pretty solid all season long.
With almost 3 quarters, this is probably the most he's ever punted this season.
Yeah. Lincoln puts up points in the 40s pretty regularly. And they're at 26 currently. They still have a shot at it, but it has not been as smooth as the Hornets have been used to.
Pablo Jackson, the single back, into the game. Looks like they're missing a guy. They are. That's a big guy to be missing.
Yeah.
2 receivers to the near side. Play fake to Jackson. And that play, Benitez just throws it away, nothing open downfield.
Yeah, they were looking to see if they could leak the late arriving Granite Eagle. That was Kuba Pollock, who's a defensive end and also is doubling as a fullback tonight. See if they could leak him out of the backfield and throw the ball his way.
Jackson, the single back, gets the handoff. And Munir Casa blows the play up in the backfield.
Nice job by Casa. He came off the edge like he knew the snap count. Great job getting into the backfield on a tackle for loss. Casa came into the game with 20 tackles for a loss this year.
Good for second on the team behind Roberts.
And he had 49 tackles. So pretty much every other tackle he makes is in the backfield.
The defensive end also leads the team in sacks. He has 1 tonight. Empty backfield on a 3rd and 14 from the 30. And a whistle.
Oh, Lincoln's calling a timeout.
Coaching staff didn't like what they saw, so they'll call a timeout here with 1:17 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Bo Furtick, Jeff Kurtz here on the NFHS Network from Snapdragon. What a beautiful venue. Yes, Jeff?
Yes. It's still got that new stadium smell, too, Bo. It's a great place. Hosted a lot of big events here already here in San Diego. Just its 2nd season being open, 2nd season of San Diego Aztec football.
And first high school event here.
Yeah, they did. They were here last year.
Oh,
they were here last year. But again, that they're hosting it here. They used to play games in this very spot at Qualcomm Stadium.
Right.
In fact, Bo, I should mention, it's 20 years ago.
Wow.
That the first game was streamed at Qualcomm Stadium here in the San Diego section. One of the first playoff game, football championship games streamed anywhere in the state of California, anywhere in the nation, happened here in this vicinity at Qualcomm Stadium. It was St. Augustine against Marian Catholic. That's how far back we go. Marian Catholic now, of course,
modern day.
Was that a
P.T. Gates team?
It was, exactly. It was.
Was that a KBC sports broadcast?
It was, yes.
Of course it was. By yours truly, Jeff Kurtz. Benitez rolls right. Try to find Jackson over the middle, but the Lincoln defense doing their job. And a 3 and out for the Granite Hills offense. Brings on the special teams.
All right, now Granite Hills is doing better in 4th down situations, 2 out of 3, than they are in 3rd down situations, 1 out of 10. Nice defense by Lincoln.
17. Well, you get them in those 3rd and longs, and those defensive ends pin their ears back, get after the quarterback.
Look at this kick.
Nice high booming punt. And Grant doesn't get under it. He fumbles it. And Granite Hills recovers for the first turnover of the game. 25.
Oh, no, what a mistake.
Krushenski on the recovery. Isaiah Grant had plenty of time to get under it, but he let the ball bounce, allowing the special teams of Granite Hills to get and cover. and they recover it at the 22.
Well, Bo, I thought he'd played it right. Like, it bounced. It was a high kick. And then it bounced tantalizingly into the air in a spot where he could get it. And he was looking at the guys coming down the field. And the first thing always, secure the ball first.
Well, you'll hear oftentimes, don't let the ball bounce on a punt return. And Grant did that. Allowed just those couple extra seconds. Maxwell Turner off the right side. Let's see if this Granite Hills offense can convert and capitalize Jerome Roberts on the tackle after a short gain.
Well, they're already in field goal range. I mean, we've seen the kicking game
of Petrich.
Yeah, Petrich. So they're in range here.
30.
Turner, play fake to him. Pass near side. Intended receiver is number 2. 14 receptions in last week's game. Brendan Lewis couldn't bring it in on the short pass.
Yeah, nice coverage on that side. Forcing that ball low.
That was Keontae McClay, the 5'11" defensive back on the coverage. Actually, scratch that. We'll call that number 21, Bartolome, who had that huge open field tackle in that first half to keep the Granite Hills offense off the board.
Another third down for the Eagles.
Xander in motion. And a timeout by Kellen Cobbs and the Granite Hills. The coach is getting their steps in tonight. They're not used to coming on the field that far.
It is a wider field here at the it's a college football field, so it's a little bit wider. That gives you a little bit more room for your receivers to work. This is a big play, though, for Granite Hills. I mean, when you get a gift-wrapped fumble inside your opponent or just outside of your opponent's 20-yard line, sure, kicking a field goal here will cut the lead in half. Okay, you'll take it. We're still not to the end of the third quarter, but points into the end zone, that's critical. And when you've been struggling in third down situations, I think it's a smart move by the coaching staff to call the timeout here and make sure they have the right play dialed up in such an important situation. They've got a chance to take the lead. Touchdown and extra point, they've got their first lead of the game.
Big 3rd and 8 coming up at the Hornets' 18-yard line.
We haven't talked yet about Coach Cobb's lucky shorts that he wears all the time now. Good thing it's a warm evening out.
I caught him in the state championship game last year. It was freezing, and when I mean freezing in San Diego, sub 50. Team made him go back into the locker room, and this catch inside the 5 for a big first down, a huge third down conversion, their second of the night for Granite Hills.
Well, I'm not going to credit the shorts for that, but that's a great play call and fantastic execution for the Eagles.
Brendan Lewis on the reception. When they've needed a big grab, it's been the receiver. Turner off the left side. And Roberts keeps him out of the end zone, forces the fumble, and Lincoln recovers.
Wow, what a defensive play by Jerome Roberts.
Turner plows through 2 defenders, and Roberts says, no, not today.
Roberts, I thought he was just going to stop him from getting into the end zone, and instead he forces the fumble on top of it and the turnover. Boy, that is a huge play by a potential defensive player of the year here in the San Diego section.
22-1.
Split backfield. Williams with a nice lane. Gets into the secondary untouched. Spins off a tackle. Crosses the 20. And will fall forward to the 24. A gain of 17. And that will end third quarter action here at Snapdragon, Jeff.
Yeah, it's at 0. The officials don't realize it yet. Now they're going to call it. Well, Bo, let's take a break. We got an interesting 12 minutes of football coming up.
Stay with us. Don't go anywhere here on the NFHS Network. And the start of fourth quarter action here at Snapdragon Stadium. Bo Furtick, Jeff Kurtz on the call here on the NFHS Network. The backs on the goal line for the Lincoln defense, and they come up huge. Jerome Roberts with the forced fumble recovery.
I mean, that is an all-American level play that Roberts just made. Not just keeping Turner out of the end zone, but forcing the turnover at the same time.
Aiden Jackson, C.J. Williams, the split backs. Jackson on the handoff up the middle and falls forward. These 3 or 4 yard gains are now turning into 7, 8 yard gains, Jeff, for the rushing attack of Lincoln. Williams this time off the right side. Moshi Talea.
That's a nice job by the defense. The defensive line almost didn't get back into position in time for the snap as Lincoln was going a little more up-tempo, which I like. I like when Lincoln is doing this. I think it gets their offense moving. I think the guys like to play at that speed.
3rd and 2. Ball lies at the Lincoln 31. Reed up the gut. Gets past the first down marker and more. Crosses the 40. And a big gain of 13 for a Lincoln first down. Right back on the ball again. Reed with a gain of 1, brought down by Ford.
Yeah, that was a nice job by Ford, shutting that down early. Oh, and Reed a little bit dinged up after that play, kind of limping to the sideline.
Aiden Jackson checks back in. Wrong with Northermeyer, the tight end.
Now someone's got to come out.
22.
CJ Williams remains in as the single back. 2nd and 9, ball at the 44. This is Gray off the edge, turns the corner, and is knocked out of bounds by Parker Vance.
Yeah, I was wondering when they were going to try to get Gray the football again. He's been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Granite Hills has limited his touches and his opportunities to get the ball into an open area, and he is so quick.
Gray on the season leads the team with 122 all-purpose yards on the season. Williams gets to midfield and is brought down for a short gain, bringing up a 4th and 3. Bertolin again on the tackle. Lincoln going to get up to the ball quickly.
8, 22.
Jackson and Williams, the split backs. They're going to give it to Aiden Jackson, and it looks like he's going to be short.
Boy, that is now a great defensive play by Jordan Glaze.
Coming up from the secondary
Turnover on downs.
to make the big tackle. Jackson needed 3. Glaze kept him to a pair.
Boy, it's great to see. You have Roberts with a phenomenal play at the 1-yard line, and now you've got Glaze making a fantastic defensive play to shut down a Lincoln drive at midfield.
We've talked about both teams' offenses, but it's the defenses on both sides that have allowed them. And as we know, defenses win championships, and both defenses from both sides are playing spectacular here in this latter half of this game.
Yeah, there are kids stepping up right now.
30.
Turner back into the contest. You almost like to see him touch the ball again to forget about that fumble on the 1. Benitez up the seam. Brendan Lewis on the reception.
That's a nice high percentage pass play. Not trying to do too much. Setting up a 2nd and short.
Granite Hills back into Hornet territory after a gain of 7. Turner on the handoff. Twirls down for what looks like is going to be a first down, and they are going to move it.
Yep, they're going to give it to him.
Move the chains. Looks like Granite wants to get back on the ball quickly.
Yeah, now they're playing up tempo.
Under 9 minutes remaining in regulation, the play fake. Benitez one-on-one coverage on the outside. And nice coverage by the Lincoln secondary. Lewis was the intended receiver. And the Eagles crowd wants the defensive pass interference, but
Now, McClay just did a nice job with his body positioning down the sideline to force the receiver to no room. I mean, that's just good secondary play.
Pablo Jackson.
Everyone's an outstanding official from the stands, Bo.
The single back. 3 receivers to the left of Benitez. Benitez looks single side receiver. The sluggo on the far side, a beautiful ball and a great catch by Josh Zander. Fake the slant over the top. And we have an injury timeout.
Yeah, one of the Hornets at the end of that play. That was a great catch by Xander. He kept the ball high, too. Did a nice job because the Hornets were trying to punch it out at the end of that play, which is what you're taught to do. If the receiver goes high and gets the ball and it's too far above you, you don't have to get your hand up there early. As they're about to bring it down, you swing up. And in trying to do that, Xander, good strong hands, hung on to the football.
Josh Xander last week had the game-tying touchdown in overtime, allowing Granite Hills, and that was a big 4th and 7, 4th and goal from the 7. And Xander last week, 6 receptions for 35 yards and a big reception right there.
Bartolome is going to have to come off the field for one play, but good to see him jogging off the field. That's a good sign.
Looked like one of those where he just kind of fell down and got the wind knocked out of him. Split backfield, Jackson and Turner. Jackson to the left, Turner to the right. Brendan Lewis, the slot receiver, to the left of Benitez. Turner up the middle. On the tackle, Marcos Pena. Gain of 2 brings up a 2nd and 8. Granite Hills stays in the same formation. The play fake to Turner. Benitez rolls right. One-on-one coverage, the pressure. And
the collective ooh from the Granite Hills fans because there were about 5 green jerseys and only 1 receiver in the vicinity on that pass. Living dangerously. But Benitez has been really good at protecting the football this entire season. I mean, he's only thrown 2 interceptions the whole year.
Maxwell Turner back in, single back to the left hip pocket of Benitez. Receiver in motion. Turner crosses the 15. Brought down by Scott.
Well, now you got a 4th down at the 15-yard line. This would be a 32-yard field goal attempt if you wanted to go that route. You'd cut the lead in half.
7:50 and counting here in the 4th quarter.
A lot of time left in this game.
Granite Hills is going to keep the offense on the field. Pablo Jackson. 2 receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right of Benitez. The play fake, one-on-one. And the flag towards the pass of the intended receiver.
I think they're going to call a hold on the corner on that side.
And the Lincoln fan base booing because that ball was thrown way over the head of the intended receiver. But it wasn't a pass interference call. It was a holding call, Jeff.
Yes, correct. And so that's different because the ball was thrown about 3 yards out of bounds in the middle of the end zone. But the hold is what the issue is.
That's Brendan Lewis on the field.
Yeah, Lewis is down at the moment. Now he's popping back up again, but so let's see where they're going to mark this. They're going to put it down at the 8-yard line, 7-yard line. It looks like the 8-yard line.
Holding call will bring up a 1st and goal. Granite Hills on their last offensive possession got inside the 5. Jerome Roberts came up big with the forced fumble. 30. Jackson and Turner. The split backs. Trishan Diaz, single side receiver at the bottom of your screen. Jackson gets the handoff and is twirled down behind the line of scrimmage by Marcos Pena, the junior.
Nice pursuit by Pena. Coming up from his free safety spot. Playing along the line of scrimmage on that play, anticipating a run.
Loss of a yard brings up a 2nd and goal from the 9. Xander in motion. Jackson runs right off the edge.
Jackson actually got pretty good yardage, Bo, considering it looked like he was going to be tackled in the backfield. Down to the 6-yard line.
Jamarian Herbert on the tackle, the senior. fourth on the team with 70 tackles on the season. And another big third down here for Granite Hills. 3rd and goal from the 5.
They're going to go 5 receivers.
Empty set. Bunch formation. They ran this similar play against Carlsbad. Benitez is going to tuck and run inside the 5. And is brought down by McClay at the 2. Great open field tackle by the corner.
And now you got a 4th down. And Granite Hills.
Oh, they're going for it.
They're going for it. Yes, you
There's
are.
no doubt about this.
What is Coach Cobb's going to come up with? He's got 2 timeouts. He could use one here just to make sure he's got the right play.
5:50 and counting. Here in the 4th quarter. Lincoln 26. Granite Hills 20. Maxwell Turner, the single back. Xander in motion. The play fake. Xander's open. And Benitez hits Josh Xander for a Granite Hills touchdown. Ties the game at 26 with 5:32 remaining. Xander had that big game-tying touchdown in overtime last week against Carlsbad and comes up with a big one tonight, Jeff.
Well, the second time those two have connected for a score in this one. The last time was a lot longer, 86 yards, and a lot more running on Xander's part. That was just pinpoint passing by Benitez. Great drive on the part of Granite Hills.
Xander's 7th touchdown on the season, and Robert Petrich gives Granite Hills their first lead of the ball game with 5:32 remaining in the 4th.
Well, Granite Hills fans are fired up right now. And this Lincoln offense is going to have to respond. There's not a whole lot of time left. Not as many opportunities on the table still. So you got to take full advantage of every possession.
And Granite Hills doing it in similar fashion last week, Jeff. I was at that game. Big 3rd down conversions, big 4th down conversions. It just seems like every time they're down and out, they just find a way back in.
Well, you know, in 3rd down conversions tonight, they're 2 of 13. But on 4th down, they're 4 out of 5.
Wow. Grant and Gray back to receive, but Petrich will not give them the opportunity to do so.
Now for Lincoln, you've got 1 timeout left. Granite Hills has 2. You've got 5:32 on the clock, and you're at your own 20-yard line. And you've got a good field goal kicker in Felix Radia Benavides. So you don't have to get into the end zone. But if you're going to get a field goal, you better chew up a lot of clock and not give Granite Hills a lot of time. So
Keely Smith Jr., 2 passing touchdowns on the night. Empty backfield. 4 receivers to the right of Smith. Quick hit to Grant. Grant with a lot of room to run. He's explosive in open space. Cuts back. He's going to do another cutback. Running backwards, and Bertolin twirls him down.
Probably too much. He
Yeah.
ran himself out of
Yeah.
a first down. He had a first down, and then he ran backwards and gets 9 yards. So outstanding for a first down play, Bo, but could have been a first down and moving the sticks.
C.J. Williams, the single back. Woods in motion. 3 receivers to the left of Smith. Williams up the middle, has a hole. And the tackle of Vance and Smith bring him down, but a late flag.
Is it leading with the head?
I hope
That
not on
looked
the
pretty
ball
clean.
carrier.
Williams took a shot right in the midsection, so he's going to take a moment.
The flag was thrown.
Right at the point of the tackle.
Right.
There was nobody in the vicinity for a block.
Personal foul. Critical helmet contact. 22.
And that's going to be a head-to-head contact call. I thought it was more head to midsection. You could call leading with the head there potentially, but that was right in front of our official. But that's a 15-yarder and gives already a first down for Lincoln on the running play. They were going to get that anyway, but now they're in Granite Hills territory.
And Williams back up.
I think he got the wind knocked out of him.
Comes off under his own power.
Yeah, I didn't see that as a helmet-to-helmet hit. I mean, I could see
leading with the head. Maybe,
Trevor Smith maybe.
But on a ball carrier, that's a tough call to make.
It is, yeah. And you know, Williams is going low. You're trying to go in low too. He goes lower.
To adjust like that.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, Lincoln into Granite Hills territory, 1st and 10 from the Eagles 48. Aiden Jackson, handoff. Turns the corner on the left side, bounces off a tackle, still keeps upright inside the 30, and 2 flags, one near the line of scrimmage and one deep in the secondary.
That was a 20-yard toss from our back judge to the point of that one. That's a pretty good. I think we got 2 holding penalties here, Bo, against Lincoln. So. Yeah. You could tell from Achilles Smith's body language, too.
Great run by Jackson, one of his better runs on the night.
But perhaps aided by a couple of holds here. And this is smart because Granite Hills is taking the penalty that occurred closer to the line of scrimmage. So you're going to go 10 yards back from the line of scrimmage instead of the second penalty, which is about 5 yards further down the field.
I'll bring up a 1st and 20 for the Hornets. 4:28 remaining in the 4th quarter. Lincoln down 1. They were down for about 5 minutes last game. Through all the games before that, they were down 5 minutes in total throughout the season. So they haven't even been down a full quarter.
We've got an official's timeout on the field.
The game clock will start on the snap. Game clock out there with 3 to 4 minutes, 28 seconds on the clock. Thank you.
So we just need a clock reset. They started the clock early. The clock's going to start on the snap, not on the whistle after the penalty.
Jackson, the single back to the right hip pocket of Smith. Smith looks left towards the 3 receiver side. Smith will just throw that one away. Great coverage by the Eagles secondary.
Yeah, nice job. This secondary has done a good job against a very good receiving core. Trying to keep guys in front of them. They've done that. They've limited the yards after catch for the most part on passes from Smith in this game.
Jackson remains in the game. 3 receivers to the left of Smith. 2nd and 20. Granite Hills rushes 4.
It's going to be offside. I think that was White. White was across into the neutral zone, so now 2nd and 15. That maybe opens up a potential running play here, Bo. I mean, it's going to be 4-down territory for Lincoln at this stage anyway, so.
Clock stops at 4:20 here in the 4th. Quick hit far side, bubble screen to Grant. And he's brought down near midfield for a short gain.
73.
Moshi Talea brings down the speedster. Clock ticking. Under 4 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. Empty backfield. 3rd and 13 from the Granite Hills, from the Lincoln 49. Smith looks downfield, nothing there. He's going to try to create some time and space with his legs. He's going to tuck and run inside the Eagles.
54.
And he's going to get to Granite Hills 47.
I'm going to mark it at the, looks like they're going to give him forward progress to the 46, but that sets up 4th down. Once again, good coverage downfield.
Interesting to see Granite Hills stack the right side of that line. You would think the opposite and trying to get Smith to roll to his left.
Well, it ended up working. He rolled to his left anyway. It's the play right here.
And Kellen Cobbs knows it, so he's going to call a timeout.
Yeah, Achilles Smith got out of bounds, so that stopped the clock anyway. So Now Granite has 1 timeout left. Boy, this is a huge play, Bo. I mean, there is a CIF title on the line here in the Open Division. There's a spot in the regional final on the line. Granite Hills looking to upset their second team in a row.
Lincoln coming in as the 1 seed. Had a thrilling finish to last year's Open Section Championship game with a game-winning touchdown under a minute remaining.
Yeah, and against Carlsbad. And everyone thought Carlsbad was going to be back here again. And Granite Hills said, nuh-uh.
Not on our watch.
No, they made some plays at the end of the game that were just spectacular. I mean, they got a touchdown, 2 touchdowns, 1 in the regulation, 1 in the overtime, and then the 2-point conversion to win it. That on none of those plays did they get more than a yard into the end zone. I mean, just squeaking by, but doing enough, and they're doing enough right now, looking for another big stop defensively.
Empty backfield, 5 wide for the Hornets. 4th and 8. Smith is brought down in the backfield for a sack. No, the fumble. I wonder if they're going to say he was down for progress was stopped.
Well, I think Lincoln recovered, but it's not going to matter. Granite Hills gets the stop, and they're going to say it is on the sack. And that was on a blitz. Bo, nobody picked up the blitz. Coming off the edge. I believe that was Brendan Lewis that they sent from the corner spot, and he went flying up, and nobody picked him up.
A huge 4th down stop for the Granite Hills defense. 3:28 remaining in the 4th. Granite will take over in plus territory at the Lincoln 49.
And what they need to do here is they need to make sure Lincoln burns their final timeout. And then if they can get a 1st down or 2, they're going to be the Open Division champion.
And Granite Hills had to have the big boys in once again.
This is how you close out a football game.
Moshi Talea comes cruising in. Pablo Jackson, student body right, breaks through 1 tackle, will fall forward for a gain of 4, and Lincoln will call a timeout.
Well, that's what you got to do. You want to preserve as much time as possible. So Granite Hills, Bo, facing a 2nd down and 6. I mean, they've done just enough again this week. I mean, but look, that's all that's required. You don't have
win's a win.
Yeah, you don't have to win 40-0.
No.
27-26, 45-44, whatever it takes.
It's amazing to think Granite Hills was in Division III a few years back. Now they're playing in an open division.
I know. That's a credit to this program, how they've built it. I mean, both coaching staffs have done an amazing job. We talked about at the top of the broadcast, but these programs, Lincoln, coming back, they had legendary coach Ron Hamamoto. He kind of got the groundwork laid after the school reopened, and then David Dunn came in and has really continued that work and built a fantastic program. And then, of course, the coaching staff at Granite Hills has done the exact same thing.
Kellen Cobbs and majority of that coaching staff alum of Granite Hills. So they take a lot of pride, as well as the coaching staff from Lincoln, no doubt about that. Maxwell Turner dives forward.
Oh, we got a penalty marker at the end of the play. This is going to be an interesting call.
Lincoln's been in a championship game every year except for 2020, Jeff.
And that was when we didn't have championship games because of COVID. This one's going to go against Granite Hills, Bo. At the end of the run, they were a yard shy of a 1st down. They get a personal foul. Oh, that's big. The only good part of that for Granite Hills, it's at the end of the play. It's a dead ball. I thought at first they were going to get 2nd down again.
I was waiting to see because it was after the play finished.
Yes.
So
that's even worse.
A 3rd and 1 turns into a 3rd and 16, and Granite is going to try to chew as much clock off as possible.
If Benitez has gotten the word from the coaching staff, he's going to hang on to this until he sees the back judge, who he's staring right at, start to count down under 5 seconds. He doesn't.
Benitez one-on-one coverage on the outside. He'll tuck and run with a lot of space to run. Gets in Lincoln territory. And he comes up
Well, he's going to stay in bounds. He had a chance to go out of bounds, but he wants to keep the clock moving. But it's going to make a 4th down situation, 4th and 6.
I thought Benitez had enough room for
at
least attempting for that first down.
Yeah. Well, I think Granite here is going to let the clock wind down and maybe use that final timeout. We'll see. I mean, they could let the play clock wind down. They're going to see if they can go for it here.
Or at the very least, try to draw Lincoln off sides. Xander in motion, and they draw Lincoln off sides.
Now, that's not going to get them a first down, but it's going to get them back to where they were a few moments ago in a 4th and 1 now.
And the big boys come trotting back onto the field. The big nasties up front. 4th and 1. Granite Hills needs to get to the 39.
Benitez is calling the offense over. They're going to let the clock wind down, and they're going to call a timeout. But they're going to wait. The coaching staff staring now at the back judge. And they're going to wait till he counts it down under 5 and then call a timeout on the 4 count.
Safe to say Granite probably would not have gone for it on a 4th and 6.
No, I don't think so. And well, both teams made mistakes there, Bo, right? Granite Hills drove it down to this exact spot, and they were looking at a 3rd and 1, except they had the dead ball personal foul penalty at the end of the play and pushed them backwards. And then Lincoln on a 4th down and 6 had 2 guys jump into the neutral zone, trying to make a big stop and fly upfield, and so now it's a 4th and 1. And the ball game rides here, and Granite Hills has every time gone into that Wildcat formation with Pablo Jackson back there to take the snap.
And it's going to be Maxwell Turner.
And now they're going to go with Turner.
The luxury of having Jackson or Turner.
This is an opportunity for an Open Division championship for Granite Hills right here.
4th and 1. Turner up the middle.
Oh, it's close. It is very close.
The judge on the official on the near side looks short. The official on the far side looks like he got enough. They're going to give it to the official on the far side.
They've stopped the clock. We may get a measurement here. We'll see.
It doesn't get any closer than this.
I mean, I'd hate to eagle-eye this as the official and give a first down call here. You might as well. Yeah, I think this is a good call here. Do the measurement. I don't know if he's got it.
There wasn't much push up front. The front line of Scott Rice, Jerome Roberts, Micah Valenzuela.
We got a great shot of this right now on your screen.
And he's short.
He's short by the nose of a football.
And the Lincoln defense comes up with a huge 4th down stop.
Boy, you saw a Lincoln team that just got a shot of adrenaline back. What a huge stop on 4th down. And now you've got 90 seconds to get into field goal range, Bo. Not even in the end zone, field goal range. And for Benitez, last week he kicked a 36-yarder to tie it. That puts you at the 19-yard line. So figure you got to get between the 20 and the 25 at worst.
Well, the word around town is Benavidez, that was his first field goal made on the season.
Well, that was pretty clutch. I don't know if you want to lean on that again, but you might have to. We'll see.
Ball at the Lincoln 39. Smith with 3 receivers to his left. Pressure. Moshe can't bring him down. And Garner goes through the hands of his intended receiver.
Oh, you've got a situation here where Lincoln guys are trying to make plays before they have the football. They have got to look it in. I mean, fortunately it was incomplete, so you only lost 6 seconds, but you got to watch the ball into your hands first, then worry about turning upfield.
That was a great job by Smith extending that play. It looked like Talea had his paws on Smith, but the 6'6" quarterback so tough to bring down. 2nd and 10.
We might have movement on the offensive line. We do. That's the 11th penalty against the Hornets. Granite Hills has 7. Now you're back to your 34-yard line.
Beaufort and Jeff Kurtz on the call. Thank you for staying with us here on the NFHS Network. The Granite Hills crowd to their feet. 2nd and 15. Smith, clean pocket, throws it over the middle in the double coverage. And his intended receiver, Isaiah Grant, unable to get to it. Great coverage in that secondary, Jeff.
Yeah, you got 3 players down there. That was good coverage. Grant wanted a pass interference call, but I think he was trying to buy one. That was just good coverage and contact. It really had nothing to do with the play. All the players were looking at the football, and as a defensive back, you're allowed to, if you make contact but you're looking back at the ball, that's okay. It looks like you're trying to make a play on the ball.
Dre Gardner, the single-side receiver at the bottom of your screen. Bunch formation to the left of Smith. Smith loses the ball, scoops it back up, rolls left, has a receiver downfield. He decides to tuck and run, getting out of bounds with 1:10 remaining on the clock.
And setting up a more makeable 4th down situation, but they've got to convert here. Oh, he ran out of bounds. Boy, I thought he got further upfield. I thought he got closer to the 45-yard line. He barely crossed the original line of scrimmage to the 41.
A 7-yard gain brings up a 4th and 8 at the Lincoln 41. Granite Hills brings 2. Smith with a lot of time.
Oh, there's got to be a flag downfield.
Smith finds his receiver inside the 40. C.J. Williams gets out of bounds for a huge 4th down conversion.
Boy, Smith was looking to the far side of the field for Makai Gray, who was in the process of getting tackled. No call. And then he looks back to the near side and finds Williams for a 1st down.
I was surprised Granite Hills only brought 2 right there, Jeff. Moshe Talea was in the game more in as a QB spy. He didn't rush. Ford off the edge. And Demarion White, they're gassed right now. 1st and 10 at the Granite Hills 25. 58 seconds remaining. Smith over the middle, has his receiver, gets by a tackler, gets to the edge. C.J. Williams inside the 10 and is brought down inside the 5. Big back-to-back receptions from C.J. Williams.
And now you're at the 3-yard line. Do you even dare attempt a run with 49 seconds left? You probably have time for one of them.
Oh, there's plenty of time. C.J. Williams is going to get this ball right here. And a flag is thrown.
And offside is going to be the call. Boy, Achilles Smith, back-to-back weeks, making plays with his feet, extending plays and doing things you didn't think he was going to be able to do. That's twice, 2 consecutive plays, finding guys.
Aiden Jackson, the single back, and there's a flag. Legal substitution. That takes the ball from the 2 to the 7 with 49 seconds remaining.
Well, that probably eliminates a running play on that now. You maybe shift it up. They had 12 guys on the field.
Aiden Jackson, the single back. 49 seconds remaining. Jackson gets the handoff, cuts back, gets inside the 5, and gets to the 3. Lincoln's going to have to get back on the ball quickly. Still
they have
enough time.
Yeah, 40 seconds. You don't have to hurry too much.
Williams comes in and replaces Jackson. Williams, the handoff, off the left side. He's tackled at the 1.
They don't have a timeout they can use, so now the clock's going to keep going. They got to get back up on the line again.
It's 3rd down. They can kill the clock right here. They're going to run it with Williams.
Now they got to get up again. They got 14 seconds.
Williams, 10 on the clock.
Wow, this is great.
They're going to need to go for it. 4th and 1. 4th and goal from the 1. Bad snap. Granite Hills is going to recover, and they're going to win the ball game. No timeouts remaining for Lincoln, and Granite Hills in back-to-back weeks takes out the top seed as the Eagles are your 2023 Open Division Section champions. Lincoln could have went about that in so many different ways, Jeff.
What an unreal ending, Bo. Just absolutely unreal. I mean, I think even the Granite Hills fans are stunned. They're thrilled, but they're stunned. These cardiac kids keep finding a way.
And it was the guys up front for Granite Hills stuffing the run with no timeouts remaining. And really, once they got to that 4th down, they couldn't kill it. They could have stopped the clock on that 3rd down.
They could have. You could have done that, but then you set yourself up for a 4th and goal from the 2-yard line. And I mean, I don't. I thought they handled that as best you could. Yeah. And you lined up, and really, it was just the bad snap that was what caused the problem. If the snap was good, Williams gets a shot at it, and maybe you're in, maybe you're not. The defense has to make a play, but instead, you don't even really get a chance to run that play. What an incredible game.
Bo Furtick, Jeff Kurtz here with the post-game reaction after a thriller, nail-biter, however you want to slice or dice it. What a game we had on hands tonight. Granite Hills 27 beating the Lincoln Hornets 27-26. Our player of the game, freshman quarterback, the first time a freshman started in the Open Section Championship game. Zachary Benitez, 2 passing touchdowns and another clean state in back-to-back games.
Yeah, I didn't turn the ball over, made good decisions, took a couple of sacks, but, didn't do anything that put his team in a detrimental position. Just a fantastic job by Zach Benitez, who is going to be at Granite Hills for another 3 years. It'll be interesting to watch what he does.
Sportsmanship Award for Lincoln, Micah Valenzuela, the middle linebacker, and on the other side, Jordan Glaze for the Granite Hills Eagles.
Yeah, and that Sportsmanship Award winner is something that CIF does after every game and every section championship game in every sport, boys and girls, just really representing the player on the team. They could get a lot of playing time like Glaze and Valenzuela do. It could be a player who doesn't get as much playing time, just puts in the time at practice, getting the team ready, acts as a good teammate, does everything the coaches ask of them. But both Valenzuela and Glaze, just fantastic players and very deserving of sportsmanship awards by their respective coaches.
Tonight's game, we talk about did the offense win it, did the defense win it, but for Granite Hills, it was both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and I don't even know if I could pinpoint it, Bo. It's just that Granite Hills finds a way to win. They find a way to win. They just, last week they found it by punching it in late and then going ahead and getting the 2-point conversion, converting on 4th down. Tonight it was just bending enough but not breaking enough and limiting a Hornets team that puts points up on the board. Well, Granite Hills is going to move on to the Southern California Regionals. They won't end up in the Open Division where they'll get to skip the next game, which will be in 2 weeks. So we got Thanksgiving weekend. All the other section championships in San Diego and elsewhere in the state of California will be decided. And then the playoff, the regionals, will shake out from there. Will Granite Hills be at home? Will they be on the road? That'll remain to be seen. But I can promise you this, Bo, wherever they play, whether it's just the SoCal Regional or they advance to the final, the games will be on the NFHS network.